This society will always be as a drunken of the wine. Controlling all the senses for understanding great divine. I will sense fire to this land.
Peace and blessings. This is your brother Gabar. This is IAMFIT podcast. Are you fit to go God's way? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let me bring in my interviewee. How we doing, brother? Rashad Ricard. How we doing, sir? How's the Sabbath keeping you?
It's good, man. I'm home. Worshiping the Most High.
Amen, 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 amen. You know, I wanted to bring you on because, you know, we kind of have come across on these, what they call TikTok streets, right? And what I have noticed in that world, in the TikTok world, it's like the public square of all type of different conversations, from political, from religious, from Hebrew Israelites, from whatever you could find. If you want to know what the people are saying and what they're arguing about, what is the debate of the day, you go to TikTok, you're gonna find that, right? And you and I have come across path, and we got to know each other. And I felt that your experience and your journey should be told because it's such a story that I heard before, but it's a story that always hits me every time I hear it. Like, it takes me back when I was there, and I feel that these stories need to be told. So I wanted to kind of have a conversation with you. So the people don't know you, just give you a little introduction, a bit of who are you and what's your journey?
Yes. Hello, family. Hello, Israel and the rest of the world. My name is Asha Rakar. I came into the truth. I found out that I was an Israelite around 2009. And before I get into that, I'm so-called Colombian and Puerto Rican, so I would be a so-called Latino, right? So I know I have maybe some European blood, but also West African, which is Negro, and also indigenous blood. So I definitely have the indigenous blood on my dad's side. So I'll be called like an Afro-indigenous Latino man, if you want to put it that way.
So where in the United States you were born, and what neighborhood? Take us back to your childhood. I'm just curious. What was your background and all of that, if you don't mind?
Yeah. Like I said, my dad's Colombian, my mom's Puerto Rican. They're from those countries, but they met together in the United States. Not gonna go too deep into that, but they had me when I was in New York. So I was born in Bayshore, Long Island, New York. I was born in the Southside Hospital. That's where I was born at. So I grew up in Brentwood. Now, Brentwood is known for having gangs over there. You know what I'm saying? But Brentwood, there's good parts and bad parts in Brentwood. But there's been news about MS-13 and all that stuff over there. Yeah. But so they have different gangs there. They got Bloods, they got Crips, they got Latin Kings, they got MS-13. But I was born in Brentwood, man. I grew up in Brentwood and also around there, Central Islip. But I would say, yes, I'm from Brentwood, Bayshore, because some parts of Brentwood would be considered Bayshore. So that's where I'm from. That's where I was born and raised.
So were these your friends, like these gang members you grew up with them? Were these family members? Were you involved with these gangs, or you was affiliated in any way? What was your experience growing up?
I would say that, I knew people that was in gangs. Like, I had friends that said that they was this, they was that, and I had certain family members that was in the gangs too. But, yeah.
And, what high school you went to? what was that experience? You think that it was a positive? Was it negative? Was it partial? What is your
Oh,
experience
it
in
was a lot.
going
It
to
was
high
a
school?
lot of crazy stuff going on. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I went to Brentwood High School. Yeah,
Okay.
Brentwood. So Brentwood High School, it's good, but then it's also bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like because it's a low income area,
Yeah.
so it's considered a low class neighborhood like Brentwood, Wyandanch,
Yeah.
Central Islip. They're in that category when it comes to the ghetto or being
Mhm.
the hood.
Yeah.
They're in that category.
Yeah.
People that in New York know what I'm talking about.
So you growing up, I think you're 33 years old now,
I'm
34, 30,
35. I'm gonna
30.
be 36 next month.
Okay. So you grew up, I would say, probably in the 90s, I would say.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
born in 1990. I grew up in the 90s,
yeah.
where and Brentwood had the population of Brentwood when I grew up. It was black and Latinos, and there was
Yeah.
some whites there.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it was black, it was Puerto Ricans, it was Dominicans, and then it was Central Americans. The Central Americans was coming in, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got one of my best friends. He's Salvadorian. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So and my dad's Colombian, but my dad and my mom they separated. So she was with a Puerto Rican guy, and then they separated, and then she ended up with a guy that was from El Salvador.
Mm.
And I grew up around Salvadorians too. So I grew up around that culture. So I grew up around different Latinos. And yeah, so she was with him for a long time, but now she's by herself now. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm saying that, because you asked me, because I've been
Yeah.
around Salvadorians, I've been around Colombians, Puerto Ricans, different Latinos and Black Americans, Jamaicans and Haitians. So, what they say is the 12 tribes chart. So
Yeah.
I grew up around most of those tribes, or what they say it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm pretty familiar with the culture, the food, how they talk, how they, you know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
pretty familiar with all that.
So, what was your religious belief or journey before you coming across the One West ideology? What was your thought on God, religion? I'm just curious. What was your thoughts before you met them?
Yeah. I was a Roman Catholic, just like most Hispanics is Catholic. That's what I was. I grew up in the Catholic religion. My dad was Catholic and my mom was Catholic, as far as
Mm.
I know.
Right.
So, in the early '90s, I got baptized as a baby. I was like 1 years old. That was back in 1991.
Yeah.
I remember there was this tape when I was a baby on my dad's side of the family. They used to take care of me. So I had a godfather and a godmother, because that's what they do with the Catholic religion.
Yeah.
So the godfather would be my uncle, and then my godmother was was my dad's sister, which is my aunt. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So basically, they became godfather, godmother, but they're my uncle and my aunt. You know, and of
Yeah.
course they got their sons and their daughters. Sons and daughter, they're my cousins, so they used to take care of me. So, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
anyway, in 1991, you remember the VHS tapes? You remember
Yep.
that?
Yep. Yep.
Right. So I had a VHS tape of me back in 1991 being baptized in the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church that I went to was the St. Anne's Catholic Church, and it's on East Brentwood, it's on the east side.
Okay.
So I was 1 years old and I was baptized. I saw the video of me getting baptized when I was a baby. So it's infant baptism. That's in the
Right.
Catholic religion,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So and then a couple years later, I'm in elementary school, because I was in special ed. You know what I'm saying? So when I was little, I was a little slow. But I had
Right.
ADHD. I was very hyper. I love playing. I love, just being active. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So with that being said, even though I was slow in the beginning, but I figured things out and I started, being smart, or I would say normal intelligence, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I always, I always was creative. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I always figured things out, even when I was a kid, even when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, um, going to back in 1997, I was like what 6, 7 years old. My mom put me to Catholic school for like 1 year. You know what I'm saying? But it was like it would like I would still go to elementary school, but then after school, she would drop me off to like that church in St. Anne's on the east side of Brentwood, and then I would I would have class and stuff like that. And then I remember the book that they had Bible stories,
Yeah.
right? Now Bible stories, they got all of them looking like Caucasian people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't think nothing of it because they just showed me the pictures and be like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking that, I'm looking at God like he's white, but I didn't
Yeah.
think about that because I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I also, getting straight to the point, I did the, the first communion.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what
Yeah.
I did. I did the first communion when I was a kid. So I had a picture of me going like this with a white tuxedo. And I was probably I was like 6, 7 years old at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was probably like in second grade at the time. So, I was a Catholic, but I wasn't like a serious Catholic, but I
Yeah.
was a Catholic. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because my mom wasn't really a serious Catholic or my dad,
Right.
but they believed in the Catholic religion because maybe their parents believed in it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it all trickles down to the generation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was. I was a Catholic. You know what I'm saying? And
So
then,
you live in did you graduate from high school that you
yeah, I graduated. I
and
graduated high school. I was supposed to graduate in 2008, but I got left back, so I graduated in 2009.
okay. And then so you're graduating, you're 18, and I think you came across the Hebrew Israelite right
Yeah,
after high school or refresh my
yeah,
memory. I'm sorry.
yeah. I would right after high school, I started hearing about the Israelites. You know how I first heard about it? It
Mm,
was when I was in World Star Hip Hop.
okay.
World Star Hip Hop was really popular at the time.
Yeah.
It was really popular. So every news that I got, I would go to World Star Hip Hop, like hood news,
Yeah.
foolishness, folly, all that
Yeah.
stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, I'm into that. So I'm like, oh snap, oh, look, different things. I don't want to get into all that.
Right.
But I was looking at the comments and I'm like, yo, what's up with these comments? These comments are ignorant. I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I'm just scrolling down. I'm messing around with the computer because I had a computer at home because I still lived in Brentwood, right?
Yeah.
And so when so in my room, I'm looking at this and I'm like, so then I see a comment and I see a 12 tribes chart there.
Okay.
And somebody said that, hey, you blacks and you Hispanics and Native Americans, y'all the real Jews of the Bible. Somebody put that on the comment. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Us the real Jews?
Mm,
We Israelites? Well, what about those Jewish people? So then I'm looking into all of that. And also I was looking into how with the slave trade, the Native Americans, because I'm Puerto Rican and Colombian. I'm like, where does my history go back to? And I'm like, so we mix. We're like Native Americans, we're
yeah.
Europeans, we're West Africans. And I'm like, yo, why we went into slavery? Why the hell we went to all that? I'm like, yo, that's like messed up.
Yeah.
And also too, I started I listen to rap music. And at the same time, I was looking into conspiracies. I was heavy into conspiracies like the Illuminati. I started knowing about it in 2008 about the Illuminati and stuff like that. I was like, man, the New World Order, the Norris Order Secoma, and then the
Yeah.
Bohemian Grove, and all this stuff. I'm like, damn, bro, this government is messed up. But I'm like, they're being controlled by the shadow government. I started
Mm,
finding that out about the secret societies, why JFK got assassinated, why Abraham Lincoln got assassinated. I was looking into all of that. I was really like
yeah.
investigating. You know what I'm saying? So, and then
Yeah.
that led me into finding out about who I am according to that chart. And World Star Hip Hop, I started seeing that. And I'm like, yo, I got to look into this too. So when I looked into them conspiracies with that energy, so I put that energy in like, okay, let me look into me being an Israelite. Let me see what's up with that. So, and then the first video that I ever come across was from IGGJC, which that's the original school. People that know about One West, which you was back there,
Yeah.
you know that ICGJC is the original school where Jermaine Grant, who they called the God Sent Comforter, the one that passed away on April Fool's Day, April 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the old school because REI's there and Shar's there. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
what
that was
year is
the,
it? What year you're looking into all of this? And what year? What time? How old were you when you
okay,
began
so
to?
with the go ahead.
No, go ahead. Gosh, how old were you and what year all this was happening?
Okay, so with the conspiracies and the Israelites, it will be from 18 years old all the way to 19 years old.
Okay.
So for me looking into the Israelites, it will be like in the middle of 2009. That's when I started really finding out. And then that video with the ICGJC video, they had a video, I think they're still up there. It's called The Tribute to the 12 Tribes of Israel. And I had that music in the background, reunited, you know that video?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, what is this? Yo, I was, my eyes lit up and I was like, hold up. Like, I was like, wait a minute, this can't, you know what I'm saying? It was unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They showing African Americans, the Jamaicans and then Colombia. And I'm like, yo, I'm Colombian, and then Puerto Rico. I'm like, yo, what? You know what I'm saying? But, and I saw all of that and I'm like, wow. So I looked into it more and I started finding out about the camps. Like I started looking into like the GMS videos. GMS was heavy around that time.
Yeah.
So I started looking into the GMS videos. Like I started, seeing that. I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And there was one video that I saw. This was with Elder Bakwash from 14th Street. I saw that video. I think that was like 2008, 2009.
Okay.
When I saw that, I think that's the video where that homosexual dude was getting mad or something, and then Bakwash was like, that's gay. This sidewalk is gay or something.
Right.
So and then he spit at Bakwash, and then he hit him because he was defending himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that video, I was like, yo, who is this? What is this? So I saw that on War Star Hip Hop, and then I think there was a video with GMS where they call that woman a slut. You're a slut. You're a slut. You're a slut. You're a slut.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, what is this? So, with all that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I think I saw that on YouTube, though. I didn't know it was on Warstar, but I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That I saw. And it was somebody saying it. And I'm like, who is these guys? And I found out about GMS. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw, Zabak, HOI. Then I saw GOCC, Ricard in Philly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I saw HYK. I remember HYK had a lesson about Hispanic history in the Bible. You could actually still find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That video really, really like had me looking into this, man.
Yeah.
And I'm a Hispanic myself. So when I see Hispanic, I see the Black Americans too. But me being Hispanic, I'm like, that gravitated me to look into it more.
Right.
Like, why are Blacks and Hispanics are in the same condition? Like, why are we getting pulled over by the cops? Why are we in gangs? Why are we bang on each other like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I ask these questions. So then I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this got to be the truth, man. This has to be this right here. And I found out on why we're Catholic, on why we into these different religions. You know what I'm saying? So ever since then, I just been studying the Bible. I couldn't stop looking into it. You know what I'm saying? But
so tell me when you made the decision. You're watching the different camps, and I guess GMS gravitated to you. So give me that first conversation when you first meet a representative of GMS, and how that journey in regards of how they taught you, how how soon from you learning from them that you began to actually teach yourself or teach yourself online and so forth, so on. Give me that process, because GMS have like they always had a strong presence online, right? And they do street preaching, but most of the time it's mostly like one or two in an area with the camera, and they embracing the camera and also the audience that may be passing by. So give me that journey, like how that happens.
Okay,
If
yeah.
yeah,
So in the midst of all that, I was actually following GCC for a minute too,
right,
but I was like, okay, but then they talking about Whitey and this and that. But then, I don't really know the Bible. So I'm
yeah,
like, well, but I still watch the other camps. And then after that, I started watching, Lines of Israel, Danny Alla
yeah,
and Bon Lawyer. Bon Lawyer passed away, right?
yeah,
He passed
yeah,
away in 2012.
yeah,
Yeah, so I started watching Bon Lawyer. Bon Lawyer, I actually gravitated not only to GMS, but also to Bon Lawyer
yeah,
and Daniela from the Lines of Israel, and they taught in the South Bronx, like on
yeah,
149th Grand Concourse. So I would watch those videos, and then I gravitated to a GMS. I was gravitating towards GMS, Lines of Israel, ISBK, Johanna, HOI. But then I started really gravitating with GMS and them because Lines of Israel had one in the Bronx, and they had one chapter in Pittsburgh, right? So they got brothers in Pittsburgh, but was bigger. GMS had brothers in Dallas. GMS had brothers in Los Angeles. GMS had brothers in Chicago. I used to watch them, but GMS had brothers in Seattle. I used to watch that camp a lot. So I'm like, man, these guys they deep, you know what I'm saying? So that made me be like, man, maybe I should like be more with them.
right,
Because with Tahar, when Tahar was out there on the streets, he said, hey man, you gotta stick with GMS. You gotta stick with GMS. Like he didn't say it to me like that, but he
mhm,
said it in the video. So I felt like he was talking to me when he
right,
said it. So
right,
I'm like, damn, son. And I'm thinking like, yo, he's deep. I'm like, yo, this guy is deep, man. Like this guy is like going like here, there, there. I'm like, wow. So I'm like fascinated by that. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah,
So
and this is something that's why I think your story is important. Your journey is important to know and to promote and to understand because people do not understand the impact when blacks and Latinos come across this information. And because it's like even when I started coming up with One West, I knew these guys was a little rough around the edges. I knew there was there was a lot some wrong, but there was a lot of right in regards of information that I did not know and I never heard before. Right? No one ever taught me. So what do you thought about? Like, like because I remember I was planning to go to the military. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I was, it just changes your entire view, right? So what when you decided, okay, I'm gonna join, I'm gonna dedicate this, what do you have planned to do with your life, or you were still figuring it out and this kind of gave you purpose?
yeah, I mean, I was planning on joining the military or maybe thought about it. I mean, I
Yeah.
really didn't know what I wanted to do. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I mean, I went to BOCES to for like mechanics and stuff like that. I did like engineering when I was in school. I mean, I did like the brakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I got to do something. But then with the military, but then when I found out about 9/11, because that's actually my birthday. My
Mm.
birthday was 9/11.
Okay.
So, and then what got me more into the conspiracies was looking into 9/11, what really happened that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of things questionable. And then when I found out with all the information and, that I found out that yes, it was an inside job. And that really hurt me, man. That really
Yeah.
hurt me because I had a family member that was in the Marines, but he ended up dying at war.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah.
my cousin. He was like my second cousin, man.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So he passed away in 2004,
Yeah.
and by late September 2004. I remember I was like in 8th grade, 9th grade at the time. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like 8th
Mm.
grade, yeah. And man, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know, and
Yeah, it's a lot to
I'm
have.
looking,
Yeah, it's a lot to take in as a young man,
yeah,
yeah, and people, we sometimes we have this tough exterior because of the neighborhood we grew up in sometimes, but things affect us as well, and this is the reason why I appreciate you coming on and being this vulnerable, because it's like one of these things that sometimes we don't see that, and especially, we see people see the one West Hebrew Israelite community online preaching and teaching and all of that and that persona. But for you to be this vulnerable and just speak in and candidly, and I'm hoping that your journey inspires others, because we want to help young Latinos, young Black males and women too, that get caught up with these hate groups and get caught up with these, and the danger, right, of finding this information from the wrong person and how it could change you to the wrong direction. But so talk to me when you first talked to GMS and when you decided to say, okay, GMS is the way to go, and what happened after that?
Okay, so after the Bon Lawyer and all that, I started watching GMS more, and because they were in different states.
Mm,
So I'm like, man, they even got brothers in London. I'm like, man, they got brothers in London. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I will watch brothers in GMS. They were really sharp. Like, for example, the brother Ahmad Shaba Ali, he used to be in the Dallas camp. He's not the leader no more. They kicked him out, in 2014 around there. And I was in Great Millstone at the time. But Yasha Wamba's the leader now, and then you got Ariala, I guess second in command, and you got twin brother Sandy Ali. He came later on. So me seeing those brothers, I'm like, wow, these brothers are sharp. The heart is really sharp. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna stick with GMS, you know what I'm saying? Because and then I started looking at different doctrines, different things, but I just gravitated towards GMS because I'm like, wow, I felt like they was sharp. He was sharp, see how tall. So and then in the midst of that though, what made me be more serious about the truth, because around 2009, 2010, I was dealing with drug addiction,
Okay.
while in the midst of that. So when I was dealing with drug addiction, I ended up almost dying, and I almost had a heart attack.
Mm,
So I was going crazy. I called 911 myself because I
mm,
felt like my heart was pounding. I felt like my heart was going to explode.
mm,
So thank God, I live right near the hospital where I was born at. You know what I'm saying? And then they came and got me, and they were doing something. And then when I went home, they said, "Listen, you have to sleep a certain way. You
mm.
can't sleep, and you can't lay down, and you can't fall and move forward because my heart's gonna." So
Right.
it was like Russian roulette.
Mm,
It was like Russian roulette, man. So when I was on the couch, I was like this, but then all of a sudden my heart was good after that, like a day
right.
after. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, cool. All praise to God, praise the Most
Right.
High. You know what I'm saying? So then I said, man, I got to start taking this truth seriously. You know what I'm saying? And that was in early 2011. Early 2011. So I was like 20 years old at the
Mm,
time. So I'm 20 years old, you know, and then months, I'm like, man, I'm still eating pork.
right.
I'm
Right.
still eating chuletas,
Right.
chicharron, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
All that, you know,
Right.
I'm still eating all that. But then I'm like, man, I can't be eating this, man. I'm breaking the dietary law. Like I knew about it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like I'm eating shrimp, camarones, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm eating, different seafood that, like not kosher fish, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm still little by little, but then around April, I says, nah, oh yeah, matter of fact, that's the first time I went to the hospital. Now I'm gonna go back. Now one day I go in the area in Brentwood around the bus stop, right? And there's an area called well, they call it One Way in Brentwood. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? People around that area know that there's drug addicts, there's gang members, people do stuff there. You know what I'm saying? It's like a regular spot too. But
Right.
but at the bus stop there was like people hanging out, like
Yeah.
homeless people,
Yeah.
some of them are drug addicts. Then there's gang members there that, what I'm saying, do they whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So I was around the area waiting for the bus. And then for some reason, one day I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack again for some reason. So one day, like I smoked a cigarette And then I felt like my heart was pounding. I'm like, the hell? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. And then I call 911 again. Cause I'm like, yo, I don't want to die again. And that
Yeah.
was a week after I was at the hospital.
Mm.
So that was in early 2011. That was around January something, 2011, right? So then when I call and I'm like, I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying? So they picked me up somewhere right around the bus stop, around the plaza area in Brentwood, right? So and then they picked me up and I'm like, man, I feel like my heart was pounding. He's like, so I was speaking to a cop. I think he was a white police officer.
Hmm.
And then he looked at me, he said, well, what'd you do? I said, I think I smoked and my heart pound. And then he said, oh, it's time to quit. And when I looked at that, I looked at that as a sign, like, yeah, I got to take this truth seriously.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So they put me to
So
the hospital. Yeah,
no, so you, in the beginning, you was more like I knew the truth, but you still had to get rid of those old habits, right? Because I think part of the reason why the Hebrew Israelite community is so successful and effective is because at least they go into and they cater to Blacks and Latino people in the hood. We in that area, we're undisciplined. We on this. We got trauma. We all we're around negativity, right? We're trying to do right, but at least they have a discipline of the Torah, the dietary laws. You can't do certain things. It kind of that's the reason why I think they're so successful, right? It's because I think it gets, and especially the national, the national origin, right? I'm a Hebrew. I'm from the tribe of so and so. It's a powerful message,
right. It's like
Yeah.
and another thing too. I looked at that like because because before I found out about the Israelites, I started finding out about the Black Panthers, and then I found out about the Young Lords. So that
Mm,
attracted me with that. With the
right.
Young Lords, the Young Lords was the Puerto Ricans. I'm like, oh snap, the Young Lords,
Right.
that's my people. I mean, I'm
Right.
not saying the blacks ain't my people,
Right.
but also too with the Young Lords, like, okay, Puerto Ricans, we was going through that, like
Right.
blacks. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And it's not a coincidence that in New York, Black and Puerto Ricans been around each other for a long time,
Yeah.
including, Dominicans, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, other Latinos too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm
Yeah.
looking at the Young Lords, and then I'm looking at the Brown Barrettes, the Mexican brothers and sisters over there on the West Coast. I'm looking at that. And then I'm looking at the Native Americans. I'm like, wow, I got Native American ancestry. Like, yo, we Native Americans too.
Yeah.
Man, the indigenous tribes, like before 1492, I'm like, yo, wow, this is my history that I was not taught in school because school taught white supremacy. Just to
Yeah.
keep it real, they taught white supremacy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, and I'm finding out myself. And that's why I was so fascinated when I found out that I was an Israelite. I was so fascinated. It clicked to me just like that.
So
And
after that event in the bus stop, did that change your life? Directly, you got took it more seriously, and what happened after that?
yeah. I mean, I didn't change overnight, but little by little, I started doing that.
Okay.
Little by little, I was like, man, I got to start growing my beard. I got to start growing my hair, you
Okay.
know. But I was still kind of, worldly. I
Yeah.
still, and I still was celebrating pagan holidays, like I knew when I was an Israelite, but I would say Merry Christmas and Happy things,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like, man, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop doing that. And I thought about it. And, with that being said, one day I said, man, I gotta keep the dietary law. So I ain't gonna lie, it was around April 2011. That's when I stopped like purposely eating pork.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the thing. That pork, man, I used to love it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I used to love shrimp too, but that pork was a real
Yeah.
stronghold. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So one day, I eat chuleta, pork chop, rice and beans. You know what I'm saying? So and then after I said, man, I ain't gonna lie, I know it's not the best thing to do, but I said, man, this is gonna be the last time I eat this. This is gonna be the last time.
Yeah.
And I ate it. I ain't gonna lie, I devoured it and I ate it.
Right.
I wasn't supposed to do that,
Right.
but I did because I said, you know what, this is gonna be the last time. And then I ate it. I ate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drank soda, whatever I drank.
Yeah.
And then one day, you know, I tell my mom, I said, hey Ma, listen, you know, because I was with my mom at the time. I said, hey Ma, listen, because my mom would cook for me. And
Yeah.
I said, listen, I'm not gonna eat pork no more. I'm not gonna do that no more.
Yeah.
I told her straight up. And I said, listen, you know, I'm following the Bible and I'm following a certain, you know, it's not a religion. And I told her about that. I'm finding out that I'm a Hebrew Israelite. So I started telling my family. I
Okay.
started telling them. I started saying that, you know, I'm a Hebrew Israelite now, you know, and I would say, you know, Jesus Christ is black, you know,
Yeah.
Revelation chapter 1. I started saying that. But, you know, but then, you know, when I told my mom about white Jesus, she didn't want to hear it. You know how
Yeah.
I go.
Yeah.
She, you know, I said that's Caesar Borgia, that's this, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I would tell everybody. I would tell her ex-boyfriend, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because she was with a Puerto Rican guy. I told him about it. You know,
Yeah.
I told everybody. You know, I told everybody. Everybody that I knew, I told them. Told all
Right.
my friends, my family, I told them. I told them what it is. I'm an Israelite. You understand?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I would say Christ is black, you know?
Yeah.
And some people be like, yeah, no, I believe that. But you know how people are. People say,
Yeah.
yeah, but, you know, they just do their thing. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to tell to my family like that no more because whatever. I already told them. I told them. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, and then after that, I started taking it seriously. Right after April 2011, I started really taking it seriously. You
Yeah.
know, then that's when I stopped being, when I kept the dietary law, started growing my beard. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and then with the Easter, I remember when I had my Facebook, my old Facebook, you know what I'm saying? I had my government name. I didn't have a Hebrew name yet, but I started learning Hebrew or that Lashuan Kodash, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Right.
But yeah, and I learned the Lashuan Kodash. You know where I learned it from?
Mm.
I learned it from Apostle Elder Orion Blob from GMS. I actually learned
Okay.
from him.
Okay.
And on his videos, he's so-called Puerto Rican. According to the chart, he'll be an Ephraimite,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I
So let me
actually
ask you,
learned.
what is their teaching method? Meaning, do you have to take a certain class, certain amount before you teach, or what is the curriculum or the style that they teach? I'm just curious.
Well, me being in New York from Long Island, I would like learn from their videos,
Yeah.
and then I would find out where they was at because around the time when I was looking at the videos, they was on Delancey Street or they would
Right.
be in Wall Street, you know, where the Golden Calf is at, Wall
Yeah.
Street, downtown
Yeah.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then when I started going out there, uh, checking them out, they went back to 34th because they was in 34th before that. And I remember, but around 2009, there was a big fight that happened. I think it was a big fight
Right.
and it had like, you know, somebody from Comfy's camp involved, something. But
Yeah.
then they had to get out of there because it was crazy. So they had to lay low. So in 2010, they was in Delancey Street. So I would watch their
Yeah.
videos and then being in Delancey Street. And then they will also be in Wall Street. But then I remember they was in Wall Street consistently. And then around like, that was like around like April, like May, June, like around there, 2011.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I was like, man, I gotta, you know, on my Facebook, I would post things about Easter. Nah, I don't celebrate Easter no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we got to keep the high holy days. You know, I would say stuff like that. I would
Yeah.
like post on my status, like, look, we are Israelites, like the West Africans, the indigenous, and then, you know what I'm saying? And then I have friends that were Muslims. I have friends that, you know, they would like say comments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The family will look at it and be like, okay, he believed that now. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
So how
So
long? How long you was with GMS?
I was in GMS, I would say, because I joined the GMS was around November 2011. So it would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 5 years.
Okay. And then I know you left, or there was some issues there with. I mean, I saw
Yeah, I
the
was kicked.
video
Yeah,
where
I
you
was
was
kicked out of the organization. I was
uh,
kicked out. Yeah.
right. And were you upset at that? Were you like, how do you, because there's two stages, I think, a brother that goes through what you went through and what we went through in One West. Um, Leaving or get a organization, a camp organization, but also freeing your mind from the One West ideology.
Yeah.
When you got kicked out of GMS, were you like, oh my God, I'm lost, or I'm just gonna, join another camp? Or I know you started your own camp. Like, what was your mindset? You felt like somebody died in your family, that was an emptiness, or you were still, I don't care, I'm
Mm.
moving on, or how that affected you? I'm just curious.
Um. I hope I answered your other question because I was gonna get into on why I started coming out to GMS because I'll answer that,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
um
yeah, yeah. However you want to lighten up, the best you
yeah,
can answer. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then you can ask that question again.
Okay,
You know what I'm
please.
saying? You
Okay,
could do it like that.
okay,
Okay, so now when I started watching GMS Lines of Israel, I started watching them. I started watching Zabak and all
okay.
that. So I was like in between those three camps. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? So I'm like, okay, so old Israel only, and then the Gentiles at the time.
Yeah.
Those are Gentiles in the state of mind and
Right, right.
this and that. But also too, I'm not even gonna lie, I forgot to mention this. I actually bumped to an Israelite brother in Brentwood.
Okay,
Um, and he was actually from Comfy School, or he used to go to Comfy School,
okay,
and which was ICGJC. The brother's name is Dawada. That was
okay,
his name.
okay,
And but everybody in the hood called him Juice. You know
okay.
what I'm saying? That's what they call him. But
Right.
but anyway, that brother, I bump into him and he will watch the library on the video. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And then we started, I was supposed to teach with him, and this was like in late 2010.
Okay.
But like I said, I knew something wasn't right because bro, I had a clean shaved face, and I'm like, man, because I know we used to pass out flyers, we used to, read the Bible, but I knew something wasn't right with me. I was like, nah, man, I'm not fully into this thing, and I
And
know I'm not.
this before or after GMS?
Before GMS,
Got
before
you.
GMS,
Okay.
this is before
Okay.
GMS. So I bumped into another Israelite. So and then he said the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ. I'm like, okay. But then I separated from him because it's like, well, I just want to, find out what the Bible and you know what I'm saying? So I stopped contacting him because I started having disagreements with doctrine.
Right.
And because I know that ICGJC, they started teaching a virgin birth,
Right.
they started teaching that. So and then when I watched a GMS video when they went against that, I was like, yeah, I already had in my mind like, okay, there's no virgin birth, you know. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna stay away from him. So, like I said, but I still contacted him, but I stay away from him. So now I'm on my own. And then, of course, I told you about the drug addiction and
Yeah.
2011, with the hospital and then the hospital second time. Now fast forward. So that's why. So I forgot to mention about him, about
Right.
how I bumped into him and stuff like that. So now my spirit was cleaving more towards, okay, GMS, Lines of Israel, or HOI, House of Israel, was a Bach. So, and I will watch ISUBK too, don't get it twisted with Johanna,
Yeah.
but then I started seeing something about, like, there was a phone call with Johanna about the brother named Yatab about the mark of the beast, about the chip, you
Yeah.
know. And then him and Johanna started going back and forth, and then Johanna's like, cursing him out and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah. So my spirit was gravitating towards the mark of the beast being the chip.
Right.
So, so I was like, okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
a, I'm
Because
not
what I
going to listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because what I noticed also, and you reflecting back, maybe you could, if you agree with me, that many of the arguments is doctrinal, little doctrinal thing that you may, depending who first gives you this understanding or the way you see it, right? And then if somebody else is not teaching the way you see it, then you got to find kind of like your right home or whatever. And
Right.
sometimes it's just finding the right home, the right camp that presuppose position you already believe or you already crave into. It's like it's one of those things. And you know, as a young man, as an older man, I'm reflecting back as a young man how what was important to me back then versus what is important to me now in regards of like stuff that would be like, no, this is the mark, or no, this is this, or this is that. And now it's like it's not as important to me as it used to be. You went through that as well?
Yeah. Like I was like, yo, what is this? Like, what is the, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
as a young person, you wanna because it's like, man, I want to be a part of something. Like I gotta follow somebody, you know,
Right.
and that's the thing. It's like when you don't know the Bible like that, you wanna find something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But now because I have experience and you have experience, we don't need to follow nobody. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, and unfortunately we gotta find out the hard way. Like you found out the hard way, and I found out the hard way by joining GMS. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Great Millstone.
Right.
So yeah, so with that, so I was like, okay, the mark of the beast is the chip. So I'm gonna ride with that. Okay, it's the
Right.
chip. You know, I was riding with that.
Right.
So and then with Lines of Israel and Danny Alabon I'm like, okay, it's like they're teaching the same. Lines of Israel, okay, HOY is a Bach and this and that. But then I found out in 2010 they would talk bad about Zabak. I'm like, what does Zabak do?
Right.
Because in 2009, like prior to late 2010, Tahar didn't have a problem with Zabak. He would shout
Right.
out Zabak sometimes.
Right.
And then he didn't have a problem with Bon Lawyer. So I remember that video when Bon Lawyer, Daniela came to their camp 2008 and they were talking about Nathaniel, Bishop Nathaniel and stuff like that, which I used to watch Nathaniel too,
Yeah.
IUIC. But the only thing is that they would talk about the name, that the name is not important. I'm like, nah, that name got to be important in the Bible.
Yeah.
So that would be that, and then GMS would push that name a lot. That Lashawan Kodash name,
Yeah.
Yahweh Shah, and then even with GOCC with a higher, but
Yeah.
then verse 14 it says that, but then 15 it says Yahweh. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, I'm riding with Yahweh. I'm
Yeah.
riding with that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, forget about GOCC. So I'm like, okay, GMS, okay, and you know, and HOI would say it too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But GMS would do lessons on the Lashon Kodash, and that's what I'm saying. I started learning like from right to left from a rhyme block because he
Yeah.
had the lexicon of GMS.
Yeah.
That's when I started learning Hebrew and the prayers and
Right.
Adawan, Palau, you know,
Right.
Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayash, Shemka,
Right.
Amalakwa, the
Yeah.
prayer in Matthew 6. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm riding with that.
Yeah.
And then with with Lions of Israel, and then I started being like, and then I with the whole thing with Zabak and like I said, that's when Tahar started talking about Johanna with the Mark of the Beast call. And
Right.
then he started talking about Zabak because there was an adultery, or they said it was adultery,
Right.
What happened was, and I remember, which I explained that on the phone, but I'll explain it here,
Yeah.
that there was a situation that happened in 2010, late 2010, I think, towards early 2011, and the what happened was that Yashawamba had a woman, right?
Mm.
And he was dealing with her, and he explained it in the video back at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he did, and then eventually he took it down. But he said that the woman that he was dealing with her, but then he put her away. I guess he put her away. I guess he
Yeah.
broke up with her or whatever, something. So basically, or they broke up, whatever. Whatever, I guess. And then Zabak ended up dealing with her. So, and
Right.
then that's why Tahar came up with that, like, okay, because Zabak told me after I was at a GMS, but I'm not going to get into, after I was out,
Yeah.
with Summit, because I went to the Summit after I was at a GMS. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
pretty much Yashawamba kind of said the same thing, and Yashawamba said on the video back at the time, and it was in 2011 because in 2011 the House of Israel and GMS was going back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I'm seeing that, and you know, Yashawamba explains it, and then he said that he ended up dealing with his woman that he dealt with before. Now, Yashawamba said, I don't care, but just because I don't care, don't mean I'm not gonna feel no type of way. But Zabak ended up dealing with her.
Right.
So it was more like a divorcement. That's
Right.
what it was. It was like a divorcement. So when you go to Deuteronomy 24 about divorcement, but then Matthew's 5 with divorce, but technically we're all adulterers, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
then I'm looking at that, I'm like, oh, okay. So and then I'm like, okay, well, I started listening to more of GMS. So and then about the GMS member, he contacted me.
Okay.
It was a brother from the Bronx, which he was in the camp for a couple months. So he told me he came in 2011, the same year I came in, but like months before I came in, because his cousin is in the camp. They still in there. They still in the main camp. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So this brother I'm talking about, his name is Shaman. That's his name. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So he lives in the Bronx, and then his cousin Palau is in the main camp. They still in there. So, they got their channels and stuff like that. I check out GMS every now and then, but I don't follow
Yeah.
him no more,
Yeah.
But anyway, Shaman ended up hitting me up. So he had a channel called This Vile Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
So he ended up hitting me up and he says, hey, you in the camp, brother? And he says, nah, but I've been watching, and he's like, yeah. If you can, come out, come down, come out to, come out and check us out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he said, and then I remember with Great Millstone.info, I remember I would talk with a GMS brother, and I would be like, yeah, I've been watching y'all, I've been, you know what I'm saying? And the brother that I spoke to was Pada, which Pada is not in GMS no more. His name is Pada Maf. He ended up leaving, doing his own thing, and then he came back, and then for some reason, I don't know, they told brothers not to deal with him. There's something going on, but you know what I'm saying? But I don't know where he at now. But anyway, he was in GMS at the time. So I'm like, man, I gotta start going out. I gotta start seeing these guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it encouraged me to do that. So and then around the summer of 2011, I'm now doing it more serious. I'm growing my
Right.
beard. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm keeping the dietary law, and now I'm not acknowledging the pagan holidays. Now I want to acknowledge the high holy days. And I'm looking at the Passover service that they did in 2010 with GMS. I'm like, man, I want to learn how to do that. The Sabbath service, the
Right.
Ram's horn, and all that stuff. I'm
Right.
like, this is who I am. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm an
Yeah.
Israelite, right? Whatever
Right.
tribe or Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, whatever,
Right.
right? So and then and then I found out about the adultery situation, and then and then he told me, he's like, yeah, man, don't listen to Zabak. Like, he told me not to listen to him. Basically, he
Right.
said, just be careful with Zabak. He's an adulterer, he's this. But then, I found out about the situation, so I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm like, you
Right.
know what, I'm gonna gravitate towards GMS. And then around that time, I started coming out. I started seeing them. I started, watching. I started, checking out the main camp. And then I see that brother. I said, Shalom, Shaman. And then I saw Pada, and he's like, yeah, okay, Shalom. And he's like, are you the brother that hit me up? Are you the brother from Long Island? And I was like, yep, that's me. He's like, oh, okay, that's the spirit. I was like, yo, I had a feeling that I was talking to you. And he's like, yeah, no, that was me. I was like, okay,
Right.
So and then there was a thing called GMS homework.
Okay.
They used to have the homework assignments, and
Okay.
I started doing it. I started doing good. You know what I'm saying? I started really studying. And I ended up, having Shaman's number. Me and him started chopping it up. We started just studying the scriptures together. So I
Okay.
was building a relationship with a GMS member before I came into GMS. So
Gotcha.
that's why I gravitated towards that. You know what I'm saying? So he
Gotcha.
was a GMS member. So I was kind of like maybe like acting like a proselyte, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But I was like, I wasn't like, oh, if I'm in the camp, if I'm not, whatever, I'm just studying. It's whatever with me. So and then with the whole lines of Israel, and all that, because Bon Lawyer taught that Cornelius was a Gentile. He taught that.
Okay.
And I know that in the old school in One West, REI taught that Cornelius was a Gentile,
Yeah.
right?
In the beginning, they changed in 95, 96. Yeah. But in the beginning, they were
Yeah.
teaching, but they were teaching it not in a way that we had to go to. It was more like he was let in to keep the records because Israel was going to fall in 70 AD kind of thing. There was like, but we will return and get back our place. It was like more of that, but they were teaching he was a Gentile. Yeah.
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like they said, like the Lord used the white man to say that he was a white man. The Lord
Right.
used him. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So is that the teaching they were teaching as well? What was the angle in regard to Cornelius being a Gentile?
Yeah.
You said he was
So
teaching that. What was his angle with that?
so Bon Lawyer, nah, he would just say that he was a Gentile, but I didn't even see a video, but I think GMS was talking about that, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, because the reason why I'm saying that is because when I was talking with the brother Shaman, right? He would be like, nah, Cornelius is an Israelite. And we would go over scriptures about Cornelius being an Israelite. So it was like a big thing with Zabak versus GMS. Like Cornelius, he would say Cornelius is an Edomite, because Zabak still teaches that now. And then he still teaches that. Yeah. And then Tahar, and I think he was one of the first ones that broadcasted that about Cornelius being an Israelite, because now Nathaniel from IUIC teaches that. Johanna from the UPK teaches that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why like people think that Tahar is the one that kind of, I'm not saying he started that, but I think he started broadcasting that.
Right. It was more like
he started broadcasting
that. Yeah, like Shabbat, he stood with the original teaching, because in 95, when they began to question, when we went to 1941 Madison Avenue, and they began to question, like, we're looking into Cornelius, he could have been he could be an Israelite. And then after that, it was like 97, 98, I was
97.
more. Yeah. That's when I'd be like, I was like more like, I think not only Cornelius, but a lot of more other Gentiles in the Bible. And I stuck around until 2000, hoping it would change, but it didn't. But but I remember, I think Shabbat is holding on to that original teaching versus the new one they changed in 95. Yeah. But I remember the people that were pushing, that was the people that became the Great Millstone, because we were all there, right?
Yeah.
I used to see these guys. I was a little nobody. They were like, so before the split, we were all there. So it's in 95, I remember when I went to One West and they frisked me. They began to frisk everybody they used to frisk people, but this one was like a real thorough one. I was like, well, why did it be so thorough? And they took me to a room and they were like, listen, there was a split in Israel. Marshall is doing his own thing. He went off. You need to know, are you with us or we with them? I was like, well, I've been learning from you guys. So I just stood there. So I remember that, but that, I spoke to brothers from the House of David. They got their story, what happened behind the scenes. There's a lot of story. I want to get into that.
Yeah, it's a lot of stories. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of
that's
stories,
what I was about to get into, because that's between, this is between the apostle elders. That's between, the bishops over there. That's between them and Barak and them.
Right.
Because they even admit that they're not the original House of David. They just kept the name going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you had branches of the House of David. I know like the one in I think it was 126. Yeah, 126 in Howard. That was the House of David in New York. But then Tahar was in the House of David. He had the school with Marshall in Bridgeport, Connecticut. They had a school in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in Great Millstone, Gabar actually did a lesson, and he has a picture of the original House of David school. It got the shield, it got the lily on it. You know what I'm saying? And they got the school, and it said House of David, and it got
Yeah.
that shield. You know what I'm saying? That 6 point whatever.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yep.
You know, they say it's the hexagram, or yeah. So
Yeah.
they had
Because
that on the
yeah.
school. Yeah, that was in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah. Because after 95, 96, I didn't see these guys anymore because they went with Marshall, right?
Yeah. They went with him.
Nathaniel, the guys from GMS, because they went with them. So
Yeah.
I remember that, you know, I I don't think they did the prayer to the four corners, because they used to pray to the destruction of our enemies. But I remember there was a prayer that was like, these rebels, and that's when in 1941, when they went to 1941 Madison Avenue, they put that big statue, Home of the Truth, or headquarters, to kind of solidify like where the headquarters, all these other camps. So it's like even, I was there for 2 years when we were all united, right, so to speak, right. And I know there was another group that broke away, another Benjamite brother that broke away in '94, and he was doing it '93. I forgot, but he didn't really go anywhere, and so forth, so on. But Marshall took a large portion of
Yeah,
the
he took
church.
a big portion, a
Yeah,
lot,
he
like
took. Yeah,
damn near like half the school or most of the school
yeah,
went with him.
yeah.
That's
Because
why you see these elders now. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because I remember it got a little smaller, and then we grew again. But yeah, he took a lot of people with him. I remember
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yeah.
So when you was in GMS, were you struggling with doctrines, or were you like gun ho?
Um,
They got it right, or there wasn't anything you were struggling with, or you just putting back in your mind like I'll deal with this later kind of thing, or you was like, where were you mentally when you was with them?
okay, before I get into that, I want to finish on why I started gravitating to GMS. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
please.
Yeah. So basically, they went back and forth. So now with that, um, you know, they started asking Daniela, the lines of Israel, is Cornelius an Israelite? Yes or no? So they kind of didn't really answer, or like brothers be like, well, it doesn't matter. But then because Bon Lawyer taught that he was a Gentile, so I guess they left it alone.
Yeah,
But then, you know, and then Ricard did a video about Daniela, Apostle Elder Ricard,
right,
from GMS. So he said that Daniela, and he kind of disrespected him on the video, calling
yeah,
him a name, whatever, but whatever. I'm not even gonna say that. But
right,
I remember, and then he said, my attitude is fuck you guys. That's what he said. And I
okay,
remember he said, my attitude is fuck you guys because you ain't talking about the Cornelius and this and that. So and then Shaman was like, we was on the phone. He's like, yeah. I said, all right, well, you know what? Since we went over Cornelius, because they used devout man and Acts 10 and this and that.
right,
I'm like, yeah, because at the time, because even with Great Millstone, they said, well, ain't no heathen gonna do that. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Ain't
right,
no heathen gonna do this. Ain't no Edomite gonna do this. Ain't no. So then I'm like, okay, so Cornelius is an Israelite. I'm a ride with GMS.
right,
That's what I did at the time.
right,
So and then I'm like, okay, so I went out and I started going to 34th, and we went back on 34th, and I started, just watching GMS. I did the homework assignments,
yep,
the book of Joshua, the book of Judges. You know what I'm saying? I was doing pretty good on the test.
right,
I think I passed it the second time, I think.
right,
But then, and then they were asking me like, "Hey, you think about joining the camp?" They said, "Yo, you should be in the camp." Like they were they were kind of saying that. And then,
right,
I remember when I first met, when I saw Tahar and Gabar, and then I spoke to them after, they were like, "Hey, brother, they were talking to me." And then Gabar was like, "Hey, man, you should be in the camp." Not Tahar, but Gabar, Apostle Elder
right,
Gabar, was telling me like, "Hey, my spirit's telling me if you keep coming out here, you'll be in the camp. Like my spirit is telling me that when you
right,
keep coming out here, you're gonna be in the camp." You know what I'm saying? But just keep coming out here. You'll learn from these brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what Gabar was telling me. And then I started just coming out, and then, and then they were being brotherly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Right.
even gonna lie. I started feeling good. You know what I'm saying? I
I
started
mean,
feeling good.
that is one of the things that we see a lot within, whether it be inner city kids, young urban kids, Black and Latinos, the Hebrew Israelite, and even the gangs kind of fill that gap of brotherhood and tribal and feeling like these are my people, this is my tribe, right? So they fit that gap, especially for a young, expressional Latino man coming in life, trying to figure your life all about. And the reason why it's important to have these conversations is that we need to acknowledge and understand how a young man could get caught up with these, ideologies and these racist bigots and these type of worldview. It's a recruitment tactic, and it works.
Yeah.
It's very effective. It's very effective. They because one thing I realized is like there was the brother from the general. Forgot the brother's name. He's very sweet towards his own people, but he hates. He got that disdain towards the Gentiles. So you could see that duality, and so for someone, and I think it's genuine. I think it's sincere, right? I think it's sincere. But do you think it's also like going in extra hard because when you have a group that hates everybody else, they have to kind of show. You see, I could also show him these type of emotions. Like, do you think there's something to that, like a PR, or I'm not only a crazy animal yelling at people, but I'm also a nice guy? Like, do you think there's
Yeah.
something there, or do you think it's some generosity, or they just being normal?
It's like a personality split. It's like when it comes to their people, it's like, man, you an Israelite, you
Right,
my brother. But when it comes to them Gentiles, or they say who the Gentiles are,
right,
you know what I'm saying? They just be like, oh, you the devil,
right,
you this, you
right.
that. And then they show scriptures to justify that. And then, of course, that's why I was like, oh, okay. But with
Yeah.
GMS though, you know what they would do?
Mm,
They would have a person like in which I still believe that like we're scattered everywhere, right?
yeah.
So like they would say that certain white people would be Israelites, like Irish and the Sicilians and the Southern Italians.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
said that okay, like I remember Gabar would say like, well, what they say about the Irish? Well, they're the niggas of Europe. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like he would
Yeah. Yeah.
say that. And then the
Yeah.
Sicilians with the true romance, they carry that nigga gene, which that's
Right.
true. I could
Right.
believe that. But also too, just because a white person agrees, he could be a white person from any country, right?
Yeah.
Just because they agree, that don't make them an Israelite. But they would say that, like, they would have people that look white in their group,
Yeah. I
And I
seen that.
remember,
I seen
yeah,
that. Yeah. I seen
yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
remember this guy from Columbus, Ohio. He's not even in. I don't even think he left then. But there was this guy, man. He looked like a straight up white man, and he said he was Black Irish, but he's Irish. But he was a
Right.
camp leader and all that. His channel was "Woe unto the Wicked." He will say the white T man is the devil, but I'm like, yo, you white,
Right. Right. And
like
see,
yo, you look white.
this is the importance to understand the how attractive this message is. Even if us looking at it from the outside, it looks ridiculous, right? Looking back and reflecting, but when you in it and you come from these neighborhoods, and obviously think about it, all these people have in common: they're poor, they're disenfranchised from society. So white Irish people, they go through a lot of poverty as well, right? And not all of them, but that's like the common denominator.
Even
If you're poor,
Italians
you're
too.
broke. Yeah, if you're poor, you're broke. You got a chance. It's like you're part of that possibility type of situation, and that's the community that they are in. Poor, disenfranchised people, and you give them hope, it kind of situation, and it's like it's effective. It's effective, and that's why I think they're more dangerous. They're dangerous because it's effective. So tell me more. When you were in there, you're gunning and rolling. how dedicated were you, like, or how dedicated you need to be? I know GMS got this thing, you got to be out there every other day. So what were they telling you, encouraging to do?
Yeah, no, there was just I was just doing the GMS homework assignments, and I would do is study it. I would go on my job, and I would just study. I would study, and I did good with the homework assignments, and Tahar saw that I was diligent, that I was out there
Right,
every week, every weekend. You know what I'm saying? Out there on Saturdays, coming from Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Taking the Long Island Railroad, Penn Station, coming out there, and it was right there. So I didn't have to
right,
take another train to go because they were right there. They
right,
were right in front of that Citibank, right across Macy's. But
right,
it was a big camp because they had 3, 4 camps at the time. So the main camp would be right in front of Citibank across Macy's. The other camp would be where Madison Square Garden is, right in front of Bank of America,
yeah,
right? And then the other one will be at Broadway, where the Q train and the train station right there,
yeah,
and it'll be right near Victoria's Secret, you know.
right,
So they'll be right there, right when they have like they're under like a little thing. So that they're like in Broadway, that would be another camp. And then there was another brothers. His name was Sha'aba. They kicked him out, and then he started teaching, and then another brother he was teaching with, it was his name was Shemai, but there's two Shemais, but not the Shemai that I know from
right,
around my way. That's
yeah,
another Shemai. I think he lived in the boroughs. So they had their little thing going on, but they ended up being in GMS anyway. Like they put him
right.
back in GMS. But that dude Sha'aba, he ended up leaving GMS in 2014. I don't know where he at now. You know what
Now
I'm
let me
saying?
ask you a question. With your drug abuse and your addiction, I know you overcame that, but did they help you? That you kind of conquered that on your own? That you kept that away from them? Did they encourage? Well, I'm just curious in regards. Did they have
Um,
any influence in helping you overcome that?
yeah, I mean, like I told him that I was addicted to drugs, but I said I don't do it no more.
Okay,
So what encouraged me is watching those videos and be like, man, I got to take this serious because they said that you got to keep the commandments. You got to do this. You can't celebrate these holidays. You can't do this. You can't do that. So the fact that I'm hearing don't do this, don't do that, like in the law, that what encouraged me to stop because I
gotcha,
knew better. I knew better. The
gotcha,
fact that I knew and it didn't change overnight, but something had to happen to me so that way I could change.
gotcha. So
It was-
it wasn't. It was more like the scripture inspired you to say, "Hey, let me get my life together." But it
Yes,
wasn't like
yes.
they would help. Okay,
Yeah, but
and
even with them watching them, because they
mhm,
were bringing it out in the scriptures and I read it for myself, that encouraged me to stop because
okay,
I had to be more serious.
okay.
Yeah.
So when things start going downhill with GMS, or
Okay.
yeah,
Before I go into that, I'm also gonna talk about like how I came into the camp.
okay,
So this was like around November. I remember the date. It was on a Saturday, November 5th, 2011, right? So and then in the camp, you know what I'm saying? But before that happened, you remember that incident with the 3 UPK brothers that walked by the main camp, and you remember when Tahar was arguing with them? Did you see that
I
video?
remember that video. Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah, I
yes.
was there. I was
Okay,
there. I was in the crowd.
okay,
So the fact that, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm in the right side. Like I'm in GMS like that. Like this is the right group. Like you know
right,
how exactly like you like okay, I got to be in this group. So when I
gotcha.
saw UPK with that phone call and everything, so it was Tahoe Ward Tazariak was actually one of them.
Okay,
Captain Tazariak, which I know
right.
you know him.
Yeah, yeah,
Captain Tazariak and Tatar War and some other brother, I don't know his name, but he was tall, right? So they walked by. I'm like, oh snap! I see UPK over there, and then Tahar calls him out. And
right,
then they were talking about the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast. They were talking about that. And then there was a brother in the camp that went in front of Tahar to protect them. So and then they going back and forth, right? So and then other brothers from the different camps, they started coming in before the camp closed. So they would
right,
have to close it down, you know what I'm saying? And then, the
right.
camps that split up within GMS, they would come. So I
Yeah,
was there, right? So I was there standing and then and then there's an elder by the name of Big Gad Tazadakia. If you see him, he's still in GMS. He's like light skinned,
Right.
and he's like he got a bald spot. But yeah, he was there, and then it was Ricard. Apostle of the Ricard, he was telling him to not record. He's like, yo,
Right.
man, didn't I tell you not to do that? And then the dude that was recording, I think it was Tazariak that was recording.
Right.
So and then Ricard was about to he was about to fight him. There was about to be
Right.
a fight. And I'm like,
Right.
oh snap. You know what I'm saying? So before all of that, they were like, yo, that's right. And they were screaming. They were like, yo, man, you gonna, so they going yelling back and forth.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Ricard's trying to fight him. And then Tazadakia try to the Big Gad, that's what they call him, Big Gad, right? Which we all called him that. So he like grabbed him. He's like, yo, calm down, brother, calm down. I was like, oh snap. So I'm like, I thought it was gonna be a brawl. I was like, yo, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? So and then, with all that, and then after that, I said, you know what, this is the right group. That was in my mind.
Right.
Like, okay, everybody else is false prophets, and these are the real prophets, because they put that in your head. Like, everybody else is false prophets because they're not teaching the 100% truth.
Right.
So Tahar was pushing that. So then I was like, man, I got to be in this group. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and then after that, around November 5th, 2011, Tahar's like, hey, brother, you in the camp. Get up in there. I was like, really? He's like, get up in there. Yeah, you proved yourself. You study, you proved yourself, man. And I was like, okay. And then they did the camp closing. And then, so I'm like, getting something. I don't know what I did. I think I threw something out the garbage. And he said, oh, where's the Asherite brother? And it's like, oh, he's like, oh. And he said, and so then he tells the brothers, he said, hey, we got a new brother in the camp. This is Asher Ricard, because Asher Ricard Tahar gave me that name. Apostle Elder Tahar gave me that name. But I was trying to come up with a Hebrew name before, and I called myself Ha'amath, which means the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that this is the truth. You know what I mean? Because the scripture says the commandments is the truth, and thy word is true, which is Christ's words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Christ kept Torah, So when I saw all of that, I'm like, yeah, this is the truth. But then, before that, though, when I asked Torah, I said, what should I call myself? Like, he said, call yourself Al-Sharakah, Happy Spirit. I'm like, okay. So I've been running with that name ever since.
Right.
Even when I was at the GMS, I said, yeah, that's my Hebrew name, man. Al-Sharakah, Happy Spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then now fast forward, he said, yeah, we got an Asherite brother in the camp, Asherakah, and they all clap. They clapped their hands. And I felt good. I felt like I was welcome,
So that's kind of like, I'm home, I'm with the brother, I'm with the truth, I'm gonna do the work. And so from that time on, what kind of lifestyle you was living? What, were you going out there 3 days a week, once a week? What was your daily week used to look like being a dedicated member?
Yeah. Now I was just working, and then during the week I would just study the scriptures and stuff like that, and just watch videos. I would just watch videos, take notes, write things down. And then I would call brothers on the phone, and we would chop it up. We would just chop it up. Whatever relationship I had with brothers, I would just chop it up. We would just go over scriptures. We would just do that. And then every Saturday I would go. And then ever since then, I started, and then when maybe like 1-2 years later, they say, hey, you could do videos, you know what I'm saying? Start doing videos, sit downs. I started doing sit downs with brothers. I remember we would do the New Year's Eve of destruction. That was like a tradition of GMS. The New Year's Eve of destruction, going to a brother's house. You know what I'm saying? We would go into the house. We would put, I don't do that no more.
Right.
But we would put curses. And matter of fact, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you a book that a brother made, and I'll be right back. Let me go to my closet.
Okay. So while you do that, I'll deal with the audience, and come right back, and then and we could deal with that. Yeah, absolutely, because it's one of these things that I think these type of stories sometimes need to be told and reminded, because it is impactful. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have these conversations, and I want to not make this thing that I am, speaking against GOCC only because I came from GOCC, that GOCC is fresh in my mind. And, I'm a ex disgruntled, member of GOCC. And right now I just want to, tell people blah, blah, blah. In my experience, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than just simply one camp. Is the mindset that all these camps bring out. And that's why these stories are important because they impact all of us. But go ahead. So what are you showing us?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm showing you understanding of the scriptures. The person
Okay.
that made this book, there were two scribes in the camp, but that one scribe, I think he left, but the other scribe, he had glasses on. He would I think he's from his ancestry's from West Africa, so he'll be like Igbo, so he will be they'll say
Okay.
that he's Judah. So
Okay.
his name was Micah Allah, right? But he left. But before he left, he put together this thing called Understanding of the Scriptures,
Okay.
right? And then this right here, you will see, can you see it?
Yep.
Megamulos.
Yep. Megamulos. Uh-huh.
Yeah, pretty much that's the Greek word for great millstone. So
Gotcha.
this is a great millstone book that came out probably like in 2011. But I
Gotcha.
got this book in my first Passover in 2012 in the Bronx in Webster's Hall.
Gotcha.
Or like around that time. I think it was after that. Maybe in 2012 I got that. Not
Right.
exactly at that time, but maybe before that time. But around that time, 2012, I got this book. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Right.
actually, no. I got the Hebrew in 2012, and I think I got it, but I think I got it in 2012 too, around this time. But anyway,
Okay. And,
so and
and so
then
what that book is actually for, and what is it saying?
okay, yeah. Now yeah. So this is the table of contents, right? So
Okay.
it got creation, Edom, Jacob, and the curses, America and Babylon. You see it, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
what else you see?
Let's see. Let's see here. Let me go here because I got this camera.
It's like a little backwards, yeah.
Let me put it up a little bit. Okay. So you got creation, Genesis, Edom, Jacob and East, the curse, America is Babylon the Great. I can't make that out. The
The
deliverance of the modern Babylon out of Babylon.
Yeah.
And then
Let me
what's
read
in the
it
bottom?
though. I'll read
Yeah,
it.
I can't see the bottom.
Yeah, it says the chariots, our deliverance out of modern Babylon, chapter 5. And then chapter 6 was be like the kingdom, a new L dwelling in righteousness, and then they got the summary, and then they
Okay.
got yeah, I said the summary, right? And then I said
The
the
Lord,
index,
yeah, the Lord's Prayer, the curse. Yep.
glossary, the Lord's Prayer, and then they got the prayers right there.
Yep.
So and then they got the curses in there too, which I don't do the curses no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I was in GMS, I was doing that, but I don't do that no more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because the scripture says there's no enchantment against Jacob,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do that. That's like a form of witchcraft. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ain't
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. You gotta pray. You gotta. We all stuck here in this planet, Jew and Gentile alike. We just gotta try to play for humanity. Try to hope for the best. Because we keep focusing on the negative. We'll stay in the negative. But I remember even back then, because when I was in One West, I'm pretty sure a lot of those writings that you're reading are familiar back. They probably got it from One West, and they probably they probably created their own version of it. But I remember when I was in the trooper program, that they used to call it that. We had our own little book that we had to get and break down, and it's like it was the thing back in the day was like our precept book gotta be the same. Like my precept book gotta be the same with your precept book. They all have to
Yeah,
match. We all have to say the same thing. So it was a good way to take people that don't know much about the Bible and really break it down like a university, like a school type of structure. Tests, right? You had to take. I remember there was 3 tests I had to take when I was in the trooper program. So these things work. they do this because it is effective. It is a helpful tool, right? To kind of doctrinate, if you will,
Yeah.
the people, right? So tell me more about that. And have you looked at that again? And are you questioning or reflecting? There's certain things that you could say, okay, they were wrong about this, they were right about this,
Yeah.
or where you at right now with that?
Okay. Before I get into that, I also want to
Yeah,
show you the other things too.
yeah,
See,
please.
this is what I got in the Passover, and
Okay,
now in the 2012 Passover, which was my first Passover, I actually they started they did the oil, they did all of that,
yeah,
and then I was in the camp for a couple months, right?
okay,
So then Tahar started he started giving people rank. Actually, he
okay,
started doing that. So certain brothers that's been in there since like for a while, they became a 10,000, and
okay,
then other brothers became 5,000. Now a brother like me and the brothers that I was talking about, the one that reached out to me, like Shaman and then his cousin Palau, he was in there before him, and then me, they Tahar said that, you're 1,000.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I became a 1,000. You
Is that
know,
the first rank? Is that the first time he
yeah,
gave you rank? Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's when he gave me rank. Tahar gave me the rank of 1,000 in 2012 in the Bronx,
How
Webster
that
Hall.
how that felt?
I
Uh,
felt humble. Like you know what I'm saying? I felt humble. I was shocked. I was like,
right,
you know what I'm saying? Because it's
right.
like he put me in the camp and then you giving me 1,000. I'm like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because I be studying, and then, after that I just started, brothers started just, doing lessons, sit downs and I started speaking and, different things, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then, after I'm saying, after
yeah,
the whole thing with the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
but like, yeah, this is Exodus 12 right here. And you read the Hebrew right to left.
Right.
And then I will mark it down like 1, 2, 3. I had to mark it down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. Next page. Not going to show you all of it, but just an example. Second one, like all the verses that's dealing with the Passover. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's what it's dealing with, Exodus 12. And this is the Syrian script. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
Right. It's not Yiddish, though. It's not
Right.
Yiddish.
Right.
Just to say
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the
This is
Syrian script, which is,
right.
that's way before the Yiddish came out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then also too in their Lashawan Kodash language, they would have Wa Yamar Yahweh Al Mashah Wal Arun Baratazah Martazorium La Amar HaKadash Hazal Lakam Ra'ash Kadashyam Ra'ashwan Hawa Lakam Lakadshadsha Hanashah. That means like in that Hebrew, he said God unto Moses, unto Aaron in land Egypt, saying the
Yeah.
month is to you head first months, because it's more direct. It's like
Yeah.
Hebrew's
Yeah.
like direct language. First heading, he shall be to you the month, the year. And of course, I read Exodus 12 in the KJV real quick. Pretty much this is what's said in the Ashwan Kodash language. Exodus 12:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It
Yeah.
shall be the first month of the year to you. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it'll be like that. See, you see how it's the
yep.
transliteration right
Yep.
here? Yep. You
Yep.
see it?
Yep.
Yep. So I got all of that in first Passover 2012.
That,
This
that
right here.
that is exactly what we should get back in the days. We had I don't know what I did with it, but it's like I said, it takes a young black Latino man from the hood and teach them things that they never saw before. And we cannot measure whether it's right or wrong because we're not smart enough to know whether it's right or wrong. We have to just take it face value. And it's not like they are 100% wrong about everything in regards of the scholastic understanding of biblical writing, but it's like I said, it's its own thing. And then when you get out of it and you start looking into comparing to what academia is saying versus what they're saying, you have to kind of adjust it, because I think the biggest problem is they develop a great distrust to what they consider white establishment, right? So anything that is like if there's a encyclopedia or something that is saying something different from what they're saying, they just dismiss it as that's the white man's education. That's
Right. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
white. That's Esau. That's what they'll
yeah,
say. Oh
yeah,
man, that's Edomites. That's
yeah,
Esau. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of.
Yeah.
I know it took me a while when I got out of it. I have to say, okay, I have to kind of wean myself out of that, because I
Right.
have to, I got to read encyclopedias. I got to read,
Yeah.
these commentaries, because to get a better understanding of these texts, So it's that. Do you still go? Did you still went through that when you like, you get what I'm saying? Like when you started waking
Yeah.
up
Like
in regards of, yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna be example. Like I would go to the Blue Letter Bible, but brothers would tell me, well, the blue letter goes off sometimes. That's what
right,
they would tell me. But the reason why they would say that is because it goes against their doctrine. That's
right,
why they said that. Like,
right,
for example, like I remember when I learned in GMS, which I don't subscribe to that, but when it says thou shalt not abhor Edomite, right?
right,
Rhyme Bob actually did a lesson on it a while back. And he said, well, abhor doesn't mean to hate. So
right,
it just means to ignore, or he tried to come up with his own,
yeah,
but at the time, I was like, okay, I'm listening to him, right?
yeah,
So and then he said that it was a mistake, and it was supposed to be Syrian instead of that, because it
yeah,
speaks about Doeg, the Syrian. But he
right,
tried to link that up to say that, oh yeah, that can't be Edomites because Aram Lab went and say, how you going to tell me that and all throughout the scriptures that Esau is going to be destroyed, Obadiah and all that stuff. And
right,
there's always something negative about Esau, and there's an old video, and that video I actually found it on Daily Motion. I found
mm,
that. But I
right,
remember when it was on YouTube. I remember when it was on YouTube and I would learn and all that. So when he explained that, and I'll be like, oh, okay, it's not supposed to say Edomite. It's supposed to
right,
say Syrian. But now I know, since I research it myself, it's not
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Is that the Masoretic text? I think is a typo. I think in certain manuscript, in certain script, it was a typo. The ones that the King James used had that typo, but since then, other ancient text has been discovered, and when they do comparison, they see it was a typo. It was not in Assyrian, but because the word Edom and Assyrian sound very familiar, so it was
Right.
like, yeah, it's like one of those things, yeah, and they just took advantage of that, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, these guys are very smart in defending their thing, their pseudo doctrine. So that's the reason why we have to take them serious, because
Mm-hmm.
they're not idiots. They know what they're doing. They're good
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah,
defending
yeah.
their.
Nah.
You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So we have to
Mm-hmm.
prepare mentally, and so forth, so on. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
before
go ahead.
that, I
Yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
address the thou shalt not abhor Edomite.
Yeah,
But abhor actually does mean to hate.
right,
Because see, here's the thing. That's why you gotta know your words. Because even Gabar said that, right? But the thing is, we can't pick and choose though. Because
right,
see, and when I say Gabar, I wasn't saying you. I was saying the
right.
one from
Yeah,
GMS, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
right. So abhor, right? So
yeah,
now, when you look up the word abhor, it means to detest, but it's
yeah,
just a Syrian word that means hate, but it means
right,
you strongly hate.
right.
You strongly hate. All you gotta do is look it up. It means to hate. So
Yeah,
technically, we're not really supposed to hate them like that
yeah.
because we
They're
dealt
doing exactly and precisely what the Bible told them not to do. They're doing
exactly.
exactly. They're fixated. I mean, sometimes we could be having conversation about Gentile salvation, and they literally only point out the white man. Oh, you must love the white man. Dude, there's other
Oh,
people
white,
out the
yeah,
white people. It's like there's
just like in
Chinese.
TikTok. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like
yeah,
I'm talking about Gentile salvation. There's a lot of, it's only 7%. White people are only 7% of the population. There's other more Gentiles here. They got this fixation with white people that is a mental issue that they need some counseling, and they need some to deal with some trauma and all that, But absolutely. But go ahead, you finish your thought.
yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, because when you look up the word abhor, it just means to detest. That means to strongly hate. Because we
Yeah.
dealt with Edomites, we dealt with Egyptians, and and even in verse 8, it says that they shall enter into the congregation of the Lord. The funny
Yeah.
thing is, Ramlab never read that verse in verse 8.
Right.
He never
Yeah.
read that. So when I read that verse, I'm like, wow, this whole time it said that. And Ramlab didn't
Exactly.
even, he never
Yeah.
even went into that verse. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder
Yeah.
if they see the verse now, I wonder how they're gonna explain that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
Yeah. They're
just
gonna
like in
come in as
TikTok
yeah.
with the Israelites, just like they flip it around and they freestyled and they gotta,
Right. Right. They're
but
good at it.
no,
They're good at
actually
it.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. They're
yeah,
good at it. Yeah. But we have
yeah,
to
they
be
good
one,
at
two,
doing
three.
that. But those that
Yeah.
study know it's BS. It's a
Yeah.
con artist. It's some
And
con BS.
yeah. It's funny because I believe that scripture. I used to wonder why did God point out the Egyptian do not abhor Egyptian nor an Edomite. But it makes sense now because the Egyptians is the first nation that had us in captivity. So we probably hated them their guts too back then. Those damn Egyptians, right? We probably had felt a little funny about them. We just came out of captivity, right? And
Hmm.
then you have a lot of them that came with us, right? A mixed multitude, right? So
Right,
we probably kind of were a little discrimination towards them, right?
right.
Now Esau will be the last nation he had us will have us in captivity. So it kind of makes sense for the Most High that said, "Listen, come down with this hate because you can't be like them. You can't be like the Gentiles. You know, you're a royal seed. You're different. You have a different standard. And then, but these guys are literally just ignoring these scriptures that is addressing what they're doing right now, abhorring an Edomite to the point that they can't even. You got to eat my wife. You got to eat my friend. You got to eat my boy. I'm like, dude, just relax. It's just,
Right. Oh, you got to
yeah,
eat of my baby mama?
yeah,
Yeah. I know
you're a
on
sellout.
Facebook, a UPK brother hit me up on the comment board talking about, yeah, he gonna get that kitty. He got a chance to get. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You don't even
Right,
know me. And
right,
if I
right.
do get with a woman, man, my woman come first, man. My black woman, my
Yeah,
Jamaican, my Haitian, my Puerto Rican, my
right.
Salvadorian, Colombian, man. I love my
Yeah,
women, man. Come
yeah,
on, get out of here with that. I
right.
mean, are there Gentile women that look good? Of course. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a man. If they
right.
look good, they look good. But you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But when it comes to me, man, I'm for my women, man, my black and brown women all day.
yeah.
You know what I'm
So,
saying?
so you in, you in there, you learning, when was the first time that, because I remember when I first saw the brothers, they were like, they can't do anything wrong. The elders can't do anything wrong. Like they had this
Right,
glow,
yeah,
right?
right.
When was the first time you started seeing that glow dimming a little bit, and you started saying,
Yeah,
or
something's not right. Yeah.
or when that started happening?
Well, like I said in the beginning, it was all good and everything. But around 20 and 13, there was certain brothers that was in the main camp. It'll be like a little bit of gossip, like back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, like I remember Shaman and Palau talked about these two brothers, man. And those brothers are not in the camp no more. They would be like who they say is Levi. Like,
yeah,
for example, you had a brother by the name of Izar.
yeah,
Izar, he called himself Haitian priest. I don't know what he doing now,
right,
but Izar actually came out and spoke against GMS back in 2014 because I think that was after he left. He didn't
right,
want to deal with it because at first, when you look at Izar, right, he's a tall brother that had like the braids,
yeah,
right, and he was brown skin. You know what I'm saying? He was
yeah.
like your complexion, maybe
Okay,
just a little darker. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Right. So, so you had Izar and then Ayash Bar was light skinned. He was light skinned like me, but they were
right,
cousins. Were
right,
related to each other.
right,
But before Izar was in the New York camp, he was in the Boston camp, the GMS Boston camp. Now, the leader of the GMS Boston camp, they're still there, is Adama and Imas.
okay,
Those are the two leaders, right? So they came in probably like 2008, 2009, because in 2008, that's when a whole flock of brothers was coming in.
Okay.
So a flock of brothers was coming in 2008, 2009, 2010. Then I came in 2011. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So anyway, so Izar ended up coming to New York in 2012, and then he ended up being in the main camp because his cousin was Ayash Shabar, which Ayash Shabar came in 2010. He told me he came in the beginning of 2010. So that's when they was in Delancey Street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and then with those brothers, so it was something going on with those brothers, and then you know, and or with that, and then there was a higher ranking brother. I'm gonna say names. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. They could say whatever they want. I really don't care because this needs to come out.
Yeah.
So
And let me also say this. I think is also we getting out of that world view. Got to go back to calling these men or addressing these men not with these titles, because I think these titles are also part of the problem, right? A level of respect, chief, high priest, chief, priest, lawyer. You know, these titles sometimes it's you know, and this level of respect. Oh, I don't want to mention his name, yada yada yada, because it's like some one West street code that they develop. You
yeah,
know, that you're not supposed to do certain things because whatever scripture
right,
they
right,
interpret
right,
or
right.
whatever. You know, so I think we have to kind of bring these people back to earth. To some degree. But you were saying,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically what I was saying is yeah, no, I'm saying names, but I'm not going into their personal life.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
All
right,
I'm saying is their name. I'm not even saying their government name.
right,
I mean, I know some of their government names, but I'm not
right,
messed up like that.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Because they're people know their names anyway on YouTube or whatever.
right, right,
You know what I'm saying? They introduce themselves when they do a video, so
right,
it ain't nothing. I mean, I would introduce myself. They know who I am.
right.
So whatever. So there's a high ranking brother. He's still there. Yar Zion, a high
Okay,
ranking brother. He was 10,000, right? Which and that brother and Ayash Shabar had some, they had something with each other.
yeah,
They would always click, back and forth or anything, and then Ayash Shabar would like say that it would be favoritism. He would tell him that or something. I would hear that. So and then, with every time when I hung out with Ayash Shabar, he would tell me certain things, man. And
mm,
like he would throw shots even in videos, like, yo, you got brothers acting like this, brothers is doing that. And I'm like, yo, who's he talking about? So it was bickering like that. It
yeah.
was and I was like, damn, what the hell is going on, man? Like, I thought
Is
we
that
supposed to all be brothers.
yeah? Is that the first time with that light started kind of kind of getting dim when you start looking
Yeah,
at them like
but I would still be like, nah, I still mess with GMS. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then and I remember it was Ayashabar, Izar, and then Malakba. They was gonna go leave and do their thing.
right,
And now Malakba, he's really dark skinned. He got that deep voice. He'd be like,
right,
um, Isaiah chapter 45, like, real deep voice, man.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But I thought he was Judah, but he's actually a black Panamanian brother.
Okay,
Yeah, he's Panameño. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
He's dark
yeah,
skinned Panama, but he don't really know Spanish like
right,
that. He don't know Spanish.
right,
I'm like,
right,
you don't know Spanish, brother? He's like,
right,
nah. I was like, all right.
right.
But but of course, but some of that, like with the chart, they would say that there'll be Benjamites in Panama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
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 like like the culture, how the Spanish reggae and then
yeah,
reggaeton, Puerto
yeah.
Rico, which that makes sense. But I
Yeah,
mean at the time, but
right.
you know what I'm saying? But anyway,
Right.
nah, but that brother, he's in the camp though. The brother
Okay.
Malakba. If you go to their channel, they call themselves Shepherds of Berea. That's what they call
Okay.
themselves. And those brothers, they follow GMS, but they still teach what all their doctrine. So
Right.
it is what it is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I reached out to Malakba, but I told him I'm by myself, you know what I'm saying? I still believe. He told me to start my own camp. I said, brother, I already did that. I
Right.
already did that, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm just on my own. I'm just, re-examine, like whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then with all that being said, I mean, Izar would show text messages to brothers, and then we would have like a group text or whatever. And
Yeah.
they said that, this is what they said about the elders. So they would say that the elders was going off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting it out there. It is what it is. But
Right.
they said that the elders are going off. There's favoritism. A brother said GMS, AKO, MK Ultra, all that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn. So like, this how they really feel? So I'm like, I'm looking at this. I'm like, what the hell going on, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm in the middle. And I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, but
You know
one
what I'm
thing I
saying?
noticed about the one West Hebrew Israelite, there's always drama in the camps. Like the stuff that we kind of deal with in the world, whether it be different gang affiliation or different neighborhood, this is my block, not your block. Because I remember when I was a kid, kids from from other blocks used to go to other blocks from other neighborhoods and challenge the kids in whatever, fighting or let's play ball or whatever, right? It was just kids, so forth, so on. And I noticed within the One West Hebrew Israelites, it's almost the same thing. It's never it replaces the block or the territory replaced the scriptural breakdown. The mark of the beast being this, he's going off because he's not believing in that and believing in this. It becomes like a tick for taff, almost like a rap battle kind of situation.
Yeah.
I see that doesn't go away, and I kind of blame the leaders for
Yeah.
having that type of energy, and because it's the same energy the leader has, the students are going to have.
Yes.
So it's like they are duplicating themselves, so to speak.
Yeah. And when you look at these elders from these camps, it's like they wanted to be the head nigga in charge.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. The head honcho, the
Right.
chief. Like, hey, you follow
Yeah.
me. Hey, yo, they don't got this. We got this. And then even in GMS, they always brag and say, hey, we got all the breakdowns. If you want to learn the breakdowns, come to GMS. That's what Tahar would say. Come to GMS. If you want to be a scholar, if you want to be a top scholar, you got to come to GMS. That's what Tahar would say back in them days, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, now being in the camp, I'm like, okay, I'm still okay. And then with Ayasha Bar and Izar and Malakbar, Ayasha Bar came back and he apologized. Malaka Bar said, man, I didn't mean to say that from the bottom of my heart. But then, brothers would still talk about them. But me, I'll be neutral on the situation, be like, all right, I mean, but then Izar, he started doing that video about I don't give a damn what nobody's saying. And he just started talking about GMS, but then he didn't really go out and start his congregation. He was just talk about GMS.
Yeah.
And he would say Tahar's government name and last name. People know what it is, but he would say that and stuff like that. And now the brother prior to that though, the brother that did this book, he left the camp because, he the one that sent me that text message.
Okay.
Like he sent me a text message and then, what GMS do when somebody gets kicked out or when somebody leaves or with something, and if it's known, they'll do like a video on them or they'll do like a parody video. You know what I'm saying? So they called him Mike Gina or whatever. And that was before Izar left. So, and then he sent me a text back, oh, the Lord had me in congruence and, dissension of thought. And then I showed brothers and I'm like, wow, so then people just started just talking about, Baika Allah, you know what I'm saying? And then I started talking about him. And then after that, then Izar left, Izar left and then he left, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he started doing videos. So then I'm still in the camp, you know what I'm saying? So, but then Ayesha Bar sent me a text message and I'll never forget what he said. The text message he sent me, he said, hey, hey, shalom, man, and don't ever let nobody bully you. That's what he said. And I'm like, oh, okay. Nobody bully me. And then at first I didn't understand, but then I understood that because brothers abuse their rank, man. You
Yeah.
know, so it's kind of like they bullying you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like certain things. Like if I was accused of something or whatever, and I would speak out, they said, "No, brother, you got to suffer wrongfully." That's what they would tell me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
started going through that like in 2014, 2015, I was going through that.
Right.
So after that text message and like a year after, I started going through that. Like for example, this is an example. We used to go and chill in Penn Station after camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I used to be around the brothers. We used to chill at Penn Station, whatever, you know, and it would be higher ranking brothers. Like Big Gab was like, "Well, you got ranked now, brother, so you could be with us." Like, you
Right.
know. So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that's another thing too. They would get caught up in the ranking system because I'm gonna tell you something. And when I was in 2011, when I first came in, and I was in the camp for only like a month, right? So I went to go eat my food to go be with to go, you know, just sit around the brothers, right? So and then Gerald Makawana, right? You know who Gerald Makawana is, right?
No.
He's the one that was like all crazy, like
Is he the one that was with the bikers? He was in the biker gang
no,
before?
that's Ricard.
That's
The other
Ricard,
one
okay.
is Gerald Makawana. Gerald Makawana is the one that had the jersey on, and he was in comfy school. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And he's like, you know, like I'm
Okay.
trying to. He would
Right.
yell a lot, and he would be
I mean,
foaming
I'm
in his
pretty sure
mouth.
if I see him, I will remember.
Yeah, I'll show you who he is. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like in the videos or something, if I find something. But anyway, he was ranked general in 2012 at that Passover too. I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
So, but before that though, when I was in the first month I was in that camp, you know, we went to Penn Station. There used to be like a burger spot down there, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got me a little burger, some French fries and all that, right? So I was sitting down and everything. So and then General Makawana was like, I don't want to send you home, but you know, this table is for 5,000 and up. That's what he said.
Right.
Like if you're gonna like, you know, us hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Because I came into camp, so pretty much you had to get ranked basically to
Right.
hang out with them.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The Penn Station, you know,
Right. Right.
like whatever. But
Yeah.
you know, at the time, you know, I'm being humble. He said, "Well, I'm not trying to send you home, but you know what I'm saying, but this table right here or the brothers right here, you know, is for 5,000 and up." So
Right.
so they were up there in rank already. So I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "No, you can stay. You can stay." This is what General Makawana was saying. But at the time, he wasn't general. He was Makawana, right? But he still
Right.
had some rank, I guess. But
Right.
he told me, he said, "Listen," he said, you know, he told me, he said, you know, next time, you know, just disperse, but you can stay. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right." So I ate my food and everything. And then I just left. I said shalom. And then you had a brother from London, England, that came and visit them. So, you know, so they would, you know, they were hanging out with him. So I'm like, okay, so I left. So, you know, but at the time, like, yeah, so they was caught up on the ranking system, even in the
Right.
beginning. But I played a humble role, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then
And
when I got my rank,
yeah, that's something that I noticed is a pattern in one West Hebrew Israelites, also in gangs. You know, it is rank and position does matter in these institutions, right? It's important. You want to be in with the in crowd. You want to be in with the right people. So it is a thing. And I want people to just kind of like pay attention because these are the things that now people are hopefully like people like us in this type of podcast are reflecting back and knowing why it's effective, right? We all want to be associated. We want to be in the cool kids. We want to be in the cool class. We want to be with the cool people, right? And it becomes from a thing of the rank. Oh, this brother is with the spirit. This brother is with the right rank. This brother is not with the right rank. all these things are important because it plays a psychic in our mind to keep us in that echo chamber.
Yeah.
Keep us in that thing, because now you want to hang out with the high ranking thing, and that becomes your mission. So forth, so on. So it's I want people to understand why young males like us that came up from our neighborhood get caught up with these type of groups. Like what keeps us in? Those little things do matter. I remember when I used to be in these type of groups, when somebody leaves or get kicked out, they do a whole lesson about them, right? And then you
Right.
you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that they're doing a 3-part
Right. You don't
lesson.
want to be like in the Perry video. I'm like, and then the fear taxes that they do is, oh, the Lord's gonna destroy you. All you cast out, the Lord's gonna destroy you.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, yeah, how about Shimmy Ashar gonna destroy? They try to do all that, and they say you're gonna die. You will fall out. That's what they'll tell you. You will fall out. You fell out the truth.
Yeah.
Or you a bug out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what brothers call me. Some brothers in GMS, they call me a bug out because I'm not following all of their doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You are one of those solo Israelites. What does it call them?
The individualite.
Individualites. Yeah.
Right.
I've been
I had a
called that
brother
too.
tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I've been called that too. So yeah, they got these names. They got these names.
Yeah, they got these names. Individualite. Like if you're not in the can, you don't have your congregation no more. Right. So when I talked about the Gentile salvation, there was one dude. He's a camp leader. He said, "Oh, you bragging about Gentile salvation, individuality, or maybe individual." Like he was saying, "Oh, that's nasty work." And I'm like, "Wow!" But you know what's nasty work? False narratives and man-made traditions. That's nasty work. Yeah. Thinking that, and I'm gonna add this on, thinking that your group is 100% truth. Meanwhile, you ain't got 100% truth. You got holes in your doctrines. Yeah. You've been exposed. Yeah. For their behavior. I'm talking about GMS. I'm talking about Tahar on down. Yeah. They've been exposed for favoritism. Yeah. They've been exposed for slandering. They've been exposed for you wishing death and you putting curses on other camps. That's wrong. Yeah. That's wrong, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're putting a stumbling block. You're putting a stumbling block out there. You're not supposed to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? You're causing other brothers to fall. You're causing other brothers to be evil. Yeah. Even Tahar said in the video, listen, we brainwashed you. Tahar said that.
Yeah, and let me also say that, and I want to go back to that. These prayers that these guys are doing, they don't have any power. Don't give it any respect. Don't give it any, they don't have nothing that's going to happen to you. They could do all that praying. No one is listening. Nothing. It's all in their mind. It's all their presupposed position, their self-ranking thing in their own little apartment, trying to feel important or like they're doing nothing. They're doing something, but they're doing nothing. So we have to make that distinction. They ain't doing they're not putting any negative spirit on nobody. They just praying in their apartment. That's what they're doing to nobody. So we have to get away with that, take that power away from them, because they're charlatans. But go ahead.
Yeah, charlatans. Yeah, like I said, because they, they talking about wishing death, putting nah, man. But where they learned that, which I'm pretty sure Yeah, there's elders that said that that REI used to study the Kabbalah. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen. They used to go into books that they told us not to go into books to have an insight, because I always felt they need to bring something new that we didn't know. Yeah, and that's what kept us there. Because I remember that's like a tactic. Like, you're not going to get this information nowhere other than here, right? So, and to some, they're kind of right. Doesn't mean the information is right, but they are right. They're not going to get information. Like, there's no church talking about King James being a black man and the black royal families of England and the Sephardic Jews of Spain. It's like, no one's really talking about that. So that kind of puts them in a leech, in a special category, and especially if you're a young black Latino youth, forget about it. It's like you got no chance to try to, because they got information that it's rocking your world.
Yeah.
Right. But when you digest it objectively, you're like, okay, this is true, but this is fake. This is true, this is fake. This is
Right,
half true. This is kind of, yeah, but this, you could assess it in a more logical way because now you got more data, you know.
right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me when things started getting bad and you started walking away in that journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and to respond to that, what you just said, you know what also attracted me too is that when GMS used the Bible and talked about conspiracy theories. Like for example, like Elder Apostle Gabar, right? He would go into Psalm 68 and 4 about the
Yeah,
secret counsel of the wicked, and he
yeah,
would be like, yeah, that's the Illuminati. And I'm like,
yeah,
wow, the Illuminati's in the Bible. So
yeah,
that attracted me,
yeah,
before I came in, and
yeah,
I remember they did videos on 9/11 on the demon smoke where they had demons when they
yeah,
showed like the demon face, and that was my birthday. And I remember I saw that. I remember I saw it a while back last year on my birthday. I'm like, yo, I remember I saw that video when I came in. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
even with Tahara talking about conspiracies, talking about movies like They Live and stuff like that, they all link that up in the Bible. So that attracted me because
yeah,
they really started talking about conspiracies. GMS was really talking about martial law,
yeah,
concentration camps, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, and all that, and the chip, and that attracted me.
yeah.
But
And
now,
this, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And let me also add that this is why it's important for people to understand that when you are young, black or Latino, black or brown youth in the inner city, there's already a distrust of government. There's already a distrust in religion. I already had a distrust. You understand what I'm saying? Like I was already like, what's going on? There's something wrong here. Right. So when that's a very vulnerable part to be in your life. And if you get attached to the wrong type of guy or the wrong type of organization, they could fill in those gaps, right? Oh, you know about the Illuminati? Yeah, you read this? Yeah, it's over here. Is this the reason? Is they give you a biblical answer for every question you had, and that's a powerful weapon. Whether it be false, it's full of crap, it's all nonsense. But for a young man that is come from a certain demographic, it's almost like it's like crack to a crack. You know what I mean? It's like you can walk away from that, even if you start seeing all the craziness. You start finding excuses for it, right? Because of the other stuff, the good stuff you're getting, or the so-called good stuff you're getting. It's a powerful thing, and that's why I want people. This is where I've been very passionate in the last few months about. We have to start something, not necessarily another church, because I don't think that's going to really fix the problem.
nah,
It's
and I
really a
already have my congregation.
yeah,
That's why it's
yeah,
very important to re-examine everything, just to
yeah,
and this whole ideology and this whole
yeah,
thing with the
yeah,
camps and all that. And because when they look
yeah,
at camps, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
yeah,
when they look at camps, they think of One West. When they think
yeah.
of Israelites or
It's
Black
one West.
Hebrew Israelites,
Yeah,
because that term Black Hebrew Israelites was actually not from the oppressor, it
right,
actually was from REI. You
right,
know that, right?
right.
Yeah,
A lot of coin stuff that we coined it, but when we other people started calling us, we started getting offended or whatever.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
REI came up with that term. The reason why I'm saying that is because Hakag Wayam, he did a lesson in Genesis a while back about the term Black Hebrew Israelites.
yeah,
When you look at the old videos, REI used to say, "We are the Black Hebrew Israelites." He used to say that
right,
before they got put in Project Megiddo
yeah,
in 1999. REI called like the 12 tribes Black Hebrew Israelites. He would
right,
say that we are the Black Hebrew Israelites. Even Yeshaya would say that. And I saw this comment on Hakaz's video where they even had flyers saying that they're Black Hebrew Israelites. They had websites from like the 90s saying that they're Black Hebrew Israelites. And also too, like there was a person on the comment board, he claimed that he came into school in the 70s and there was
mm,
no seven heads. And he said that he came in like 1975 to 77. And
yeah,
he was in one of them New York gangs, right? And
yeah,
he said that back in the school, they did call themselves Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we actually came, like us as a whole, the One West ideology,
Yeah.
they the ones that started saying that we are the Black Hebrew Israelites, not Esau, not the white man.
Right.
The
Right.
white man called us that because Ariah called ourselves that. That's
right.
why. Just to put
Right.
it out there.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
giving you the
And
One West history. You know what I'm saying?
right. Right. Because it's important to know this history for this reason, to understand why young people that never met these people, Ariah and Abba Bibbins, how they affect us now.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the reason why I put this podcast together. One of the reasons is to have this conversation, and I'm building, and we're building together a collective group of ex One West survivors that are out of that mindset. We still believe in God, which is a good thing. A lot of us. Some don't, right? Some, and I think sometimes, I believe that many of these dudes don't really believe in God, because if they are not Hebrew Israelite, they can't hate on the white T-man. They don't want to believe in God. So I think it comes with these restrictions. Like, I will believe in God if I could hate on white people, right? If I can't hate on white people, so I question even their faith with that. But I want to build a team together to actually address it, and not only address it, but try to stop the bleeding. Because new 18-year-old kids are graduating out of high school, coming out of high school, are going to come across these videos as well. They're not going away, right? And the way you and I met, right? We met online on TikTok, and we recognized each other. We reached out to one another, and we, you called the show early, a few months back, and we started building rapport. And I see that you're very dedicated in fighting these guys and these ideology that you used to believe with, all this hate and stuff for someone that you used to teach, and try to now combat the hate by informing the people and confronting these guys. So talk to me about that in regards, what made you change and say, maybe they're wrong about this hate thing, about the Gentiles? What was the typical moment that changed your mind?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I want to talk about my journey about the favoritism in GMS.
Yeah.
But I'll give the rundown to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would go back and forth with brothers, and then when I got my rank, I started hanging with brothers, and then there was an incident that happened. Just one incident when one brother was arguing with an Edomite about the Bible. So, and then I try to, teach on the Bible. And then the brother was like, hey, hold on. He was being nasty to me. You know what I'm saying? And then they almost got into a fight. And I said, chill out. He's like, I know how to handle myself and everything. Now, this brother that I was talking about, he was a 10,000.
2 seconds. Let me grab something at the door.
All right. Cool. Let me mute my mic. I'm wait till you get back.
All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. You were saying. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Okay. Can you hear me? Are we back? Let me see if I have.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Oh, loud and clear. Okay, you were saying.
Okay, yeah, I muted my mic. Yeah, so basically, there was a brother that, like, basically, this is just an example.
Yeah.
Like, I was telling him to, like, I broke it up, and then, he kind of was being nasty to me. I'm like, damn, bro, like, why are you talking to me like that? So I felt like, he was kind of abusing his rank,
Right.
and I'm talking about, this is a 10,000 brother, his name is Sabar. So, but then after that, we was all right. You know what I'm saying? With that incident that happened. But that's just an example, like, damn, bro, like, these brothers be kind of abusing their rank. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then
they're still guys from the street. They haven't learned, because that's why I believe that part of the healing process, if we're gonna have an Israelite identity, it has to be talking about our faults, our anger, our, how we deal with conflict and solutions. These life tips that we need to learn that the elders don't learn themselves, and they're out here elders having hundreds and sometimes even thousands of men under them, and they're not teaching them that. They're kind of becoming, they just creating their own version of what they feel as a man's supposed to be, you know. But go ahead. I think
Yeah.
you muted. Okay, you're back. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and then, that's just an example. And another example is that, a brother from Jamaica came, right? He
Yeah.
came to, visit, the main camp in New York. And, he was from GMS Jamaica because they got brothers in Jamaica, right? And, I remember he lived in Long Island. He didn't live in Long Island. He had a sister that lived in Long Island. So,
Okay.
I would chop it up with him. She lived in Copac. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember, I would like treat him good, take him out to eat and stuff. And then, of course, we would go, to the camp and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And one day, we in Penn Station and everything. And then, one of the brothers, because, I'm just having fun, in Penn Station. And then one brother says, like, hey, brother, like he was kind of being nasty all of a sudden. Because I guess, we all had the alcohol or whatever.
Yeah.
And now this brother who I'm talking about, I don't care if brothers get mad. I'm gonna say names. I'm not scared. So whatever they want to do, they could respond. They could say whatever they want, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? The Most High know everything.
Yeah.
So Yaikwa was like, his name was Yaikwa. That was his name, Yaikwa. He's still in the main camp. And then he got a biological brother. I think his name is Nazar Ricard. But anyway, he gave me an attitude in Penn Station. And then he was like, hey, brother, I think you gotta, like, because I guess I had to go because, I used to stay there for a long time because I had, I didn't work the next day. So I'm like, hey, maybe I should hang out. But, so and then the brother's trying to talk to me. And I told the brother, hold on. And then the brother was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's like, you don't tell me to hold on. You don't tell me to hold on. He's like, do you understand? He's like, do you understand? Like, he talking to me like I'm a little kid or something.
Right.
And then I said, okay. So then he pulls me to the side. I said, but yeah, brother, the reason why I did that is because, so, I'm going back and forth because I'm telling the truth. He's like, oh, but you talking back to me. Like, he didn't like that I was talking back.
Right.
But I'm like, you kind of interrupted me. You was being rude. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
so
he was probably drinking. He was probably drinking already, right?
Yeah, he probably had some alcohol. He probably did, or maybe not, or maybe because he thought that because he was a 10,000, he could talk to me some type of way because I'm a 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and then, instead of looking at the whole matter, they start automatically being on his side because Big Gad was like, hey, brother, you got to follow orders, man. You got to follow the order.
Right.
I said, okay. So then, I just left, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't think nothing of it, And then the next day or the next week, I come to camp because the brother, he went, he left, said, brother, hey, shalom. And then, and then he went back to Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? And then his sister, or his cousin, or I think that was his sister, she lived in Copac and she was at the camp because he was there. But she took him to the airport, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, so the next week, it was cool that the brother came out, you know what I'm saying? So then 1 week later, I come and then one elder is coming at me and his name is Elder Ibad. Elder Ibad, which he's a bishop now. A lot of those elders like Taza Dagba, Manatazak, Ainab, those elders, they're like bishops now. And they're like, Sakaran, they're like in Connecticut and all that, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of those guys are from Connecticut. That's where they're from. Like they're from like Bridgeport, Connecticut and all that, right?
Okay.
So anyway, Ibad, one of them bishops now, I guess, he went like this to me. He touched me right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, yo, brother, why you do that, man? That's not brotherly, man. You can't do that, man. And I'm like, why are they just taking his side? Why they didn't ask me what was going on?
Right.
So I'm
Right.
thinking, I'm like, wow, they just taking his side, and I talk back because obviously you interrupted me, and then the brother was gonna say something.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, I gotta squash this, man. So I
Yeah.
come up, so I go up to Yaikwab, I go up to him face to face. I go up to him face to face. And you know what I'm saying? So I go up to him and I say, hey, brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, the reason why I did he's like, are we good though? He's like, yeah, we good. So then we was good after that. So I handled it myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, so when the scriptures tell you that, in Matthew's 18 about offending or whatever,
Yeah.
go to the brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I
You
think
know?
what happened with that community is that you got an ultra sensitive, immature man with rank and with power or control of men that they would never have in any other scenario. And sometimes, and I think a lot of it has to do with education or lack thereof education. It just these men are not in the right state of mind, so you're gonna have all these type of ranking issues or because I remember even when I was in One West, that was like a thing. Like if there's a certain ranking person talks to you, you have to have a certain level of respect for him, even though he may be dead wrong on the subject matter, right? And there's a perception that if you a higher ranking person, that means you have more wisdom, more understanding in life, or more. And half the time I remember reflecting back, there was dudes giving me advice, and their own life was ruined. Their own life was all over the place, in and out relationship, in and out. And you're like, dude, you giving me advice, and you like, you get what I'm saying. So I think these
Yeah,
ranking
yeah,
system
yeah.
gives you a forced sense of like understanding life and a lot of it is if you've been there the longest, if you're dedicated to the boss or the main guy or whatever, you get a rank. But there's nothing within your life experience that will give you more experience than somebody else. Half the time, you need advice because half these guys are giving marital advice, and they're like in their third marriage or their whole life is chaotic, and they're giving
Yeah,
people
it
advice.
ain't what it seems or what they progress out there or what they put
Exactly.
out there. It ain't,
Yeah.
yeah. Trust me,
Yeah.
I know. Trust
Yeah.
me, I hear stories from these different camps and brothers
Yeah.
have testimonies. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about not just GMS, but all the One West camps that's, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, and like that was just an example. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
with all that, I would go back and forth with brothers. I mean, I would go back and forth with different brothers, you know what I'm saying? And all that. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So, and then he's the type of brother, Yaikwa would call on the phone, it's like, oh, well, the bridges, just don't say nothing, man. Don't say nothing. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, damn,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So it's like it's crazy. But yeah, so going back, so 2014 also what happened is that there was a brother that lived in Long Island. Um his name was Shemai too. So now this Shemai that I'm talking about, he's still in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Remember the video I sent you with the brother from North Carolina, Manata Zakba?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So he's the brother that mentioned Gorilla Hebrew. He was in
Yeah.
GMS. He mentioned Captain Zazariak because actually, Captain Zazariak, he actually used to chop it up with a brother from Louisiana
Right.
from
Yeah.
GMS, but then he ended up joining ISUBK. That's why he said that.
Yeah. Yeah. He
So,
met. Yeah. I seen that interview. Yeah. He was first learning from GMS, and he went over to, But um, let's talk about the online. Right now, what I'm trying to see.
okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah. We just having an interview, just different
Yeah.
things, man. Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
What I see now, right? There is in social media or on TikTok, there is what I'm seeing is that there are church members coming together having debates outside of the church leaders, right?
Mm.
And I'm seeing not only within the Hebrew Israelite, right, but you also see within the Christian community, right? The Trinity is false. Jesus is not God. The Father is God. Like they're having these conversations now. And I think that there is an awakening now more than ever from people that are going into these cult-like churches like, yo, there's something off here. They're asking these questions. These fundamental questions, like the Trinity, is that thing? That's like a big thing now.
Trinity,
salvation. Who's salvation? And I think what's happening is that you having people like you and I, they know that salvation is for everybody. We're having, conversation to challenge that. But I also see the Hebrew Israelites challenging or trying to protect Israelite-only salvation.
Yep.
Right? Because that's been their meal ticket for a long time, right? It's only for us. This is us now, not them. Us. So, and I want to also talk about this sister here, right?
I'm gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna put the fan on real quick. All right.
Okay. All right. Do your thing. And I want to talk to the sister about this sister right here. This sister Tomika. She's been on these discussions and she's hosting these type of discussions. And she's a GOCC member. And let me tell you guys why I feel sisters like her, although she means well, she's probably causing more harm than good. She allows these bigots, these Israelites that believe that Gentiles cannot be saved, Esau is going to be destroyed, blah, 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 in her platform. And she said it herself. The different camps, we all disagree on different things. And, but we should be able to get along and yada, yada, yada. And the reason why I feel she's dangerous, and I love her, and I want the worst for her, but I think if she could hear the sound of my voice, or if somebody could get this message touched to her, to her, is that, and I put it on top, GOCC member allowing racist One West audience within her platform to be allow bigotry, right? Because if you treat this bigotry, no salvation for Gentiles, as a different doctrine, like the mark of the beast, what is Babylon? What is lunar Sabbath versus the Enoch calendar or versus this, and these are all different doctrinal things that there are different debates about. We can't.
I'm back on. I just had to get something to drink. Some Gatorade.
Yep. It's like we can't treat the bigotry. We can't treat the salvation only for Israel as one of those doctrines, because that's rooted on hate and is rooting on falsehood. There is no evidence that salvation can only come to Israel. There is no evidence.
Yeah.
There is none. So why is this doctrine a thing? It's because of hate and bigotry. So we cannot treat it in the same way like the mark of the beast. Is America's Babylon? Is which calendar? Because those things are
like
legitimate
arguments. It's Babylon is just America. The Roman Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like what else? The breakdown of Revelation 20.
Exactly.
They say, was it the millennial reign? Like the millennial reign, is it like when it says this? And what I'm saying, I heard it all. What I mean?
Because it's like we can't treat the bigotry as one of those nonsense, those different debates, right? Because those things are legit.
The beast too. Like, what's the mark of the beast? Is it the chip? Is it this? Is it more than that? Is it? Yeah, my bad.
Right, because there is no evidence. That's why with Ahaya and Yeshaya, I'm not debating that. It is no evidence.
Nah,
this dude just made it up
because of the LQ. That's another thing too. And is the LQ, is that the real Hebrew?
Right. So
you know what I'm saying? So is it real or is it made up?
We have legitimate questions and doctrinal understanding, and that's valid. These are, however, though, we cannot platform these bigotry. We cannot platform these people that are refusing to say that Gentiles cannot come to, that salvation cannot come to Gentiles.
Yeah, that's problematic. Because you know why? because the scripture says that the wicked Pharisees will shut down the kingdom or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because so in
Yeah.
a way they're shutting down. They're telling people that just because they're Gentiles, they're pretty much putting themselves in God's hands. They're trying to act
Right.
like they're God themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
And
at the end of
yeah.
well, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead. Finish your thought. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because then you taking matters in your own hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you
Right.
taking the matter in the Most High's hands. You're not the Most High. Who are
Right.
you to say that that Gentile can't make it? But yet in the script throughout the scriptures, you had Gentiles that actually was grafted in.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Right.
that's what I'm saying though, because the damaging GMS is an example.
Yeah.
Romans 11, they say, oh, they are Israelites. Acts 15. But you know what Tahar's doctrine is?
Mm.
He'll go to Acts 15. You know what he said? And I'm going to say this because I remember there was an old video, and you can find it online too.
Yeah.
It says, oh, James went off. That's his doctrine.
Right.
So he's saying
Right.
that James went off, that
Right.
the scripture go off. That's crazy.
Right. Right.
That's
And this
crazy.
is the reason why I've been saying to everybody who is with GOCC, and also all the other camps as well, that when I woke up in 97 and I realized, yo, a lot of these brothers are off, especially with, this Gentile salvation. In 97, I was already like convinced, not like thinking about it, not like looking into it. I was 100% convinced. And I stood there another 3 years hoping. But within those 3 years, I was still going out street preaching because I was part of the Spanish camp in Washington Heights. I was still paying my tithes. I was still, you understand? I was still contributing to the beast. I was still contributing to the machine. What I'm urging every brother and sister, get out. Get out of every and any One West church that ever exists. Get out. You're not going to find the truth in there. That's not the truth. The truth is in the Bible. The truth is in the scriptures, right? And I think we have to create a group, a body, a community of not everybody, who's going to be the leader. No, we are all going to learn from each other. But our main thing is to dismantle and stop the bleeding of the One West racist, bigot Israelite doctrine that is hurting Blacks and Latino men, young men that got learning disability. Like I had a learning disability as well. You understand what I'm saying? Young men that come from the worst high school, the work communities, and you give them this hope, this false hope, right? With some truth, right? But a lot of lies, right? With a lot of some sweet stuff, but a lot of bitter stuff, right? And it is a mixture, is why it makes it dangerous because there's some good to it.
You're mixing the truth to lies.
Yeah. You're bringing the truth, some truth to bring the big lie, right? And the big lie is hate. The big lie is
that hatred.
It's that hatred, and that keeps you in the place of hating the world, not advancing your brain, not going to different. Going to school, getting a job,
you know what it is? You being angry, you being bitter, you just you just hate your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just hate your life. And then they use that scripture, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, right?
Yeah.
But then when you read on down, it tells you that you got to control your anger. You got to be patient in your spirit. Because if you're too angry, you're gonna look like a fool. And you're not a fool for the Lord. Nah, you're a fool for another man.
Yeah.
You're a fool for man-made tradition, and you're a fool for a false narrative, thinking that it's only Israelites. But no, clearly Gentiles is in there, the mixed multitude.
Yeah.
Exodus 12. I mean, hello.
So what we're going to be doing? I know you and I were going to be working together. I know last week we worked. We went live on our TikTok, and it was pretty positive. Some brothers came in and talked, and we did some highlights on that as well. So we're going to be coming up every Wednesday. So look out for that on TikTok. But prior to that, we're going to be in TikTok trying to engage with these brothers and let people know that there is an alternative way. Where I want to put a monkey wrench, a interrupting force, because these guys are dedicated. Like this guy here, he's here every day. He's there every, let me see if he's still there.
Yeah. Check him out.
I mean, these guys are there every. Let me.
Let's see who he is. I think I know who he is. Yeah, check him out.
Right, these guys are there every day, talking about things. Talking. Let me do a quick. Let me see different subject matter. I got to unmute. So, they're out there. All these they are talking about these conversations, and the people that are out there talking about hate, they're dedicated. They're way more dedicated than us. So we have to put in that same dedication. We have to put that same fire. We have to put that same, effort that they are. Because sometimes these dudes just be waiting, on their own by themselves. There'll be just one dude and they just there. And they just put, I don't know what, if they're working, they just put their phone there, turn it on, and just wait, somebody comes on.
Right. Yeah, like that one brother ask an Israelite anything, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he has this this persona, like, okay, I can answer all the questions, right?
Right.
Because when it comes to the Christians, the Muslims, and everybody else, I can answer all the questions, right?
Right.
So, and then one brother was talking about, he followed YUIC, and then he said that he had dialysis and everything. And he said, hey, man, you gotta, just do what you gotta do. Like, you gotta show up to IUIC. If IUIC is there, show up to them, even though he's not IUIC, but he's from North Carolina. Now, this is the same guy that went on my comment board talking about nasty work. And then I see him, I'm like, oh, that's that guy right there.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So, and then, he leaves, and then I end up going in there, right? So, and then I said, hey, brother, how you doing? He's like, yeah, no, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. He's like, oh, that's cool. And I said, I was in a One West camp, and I had my own congregation, but it was split up due to personal reasons, Dr. W.'s personal reasons. That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
So then I said, well, he's like, yeah, you look familiar. I was like, yeah. And then I said, well, I wanted to discuss Gentile salvation, because I see in the Bible now that that Gentiles could come in. And then guess what? He automatically kicks me out. And then he goes, have a nice day, brother. Have a nice night, brother. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. And then I asked him, before that, I said, you a member or you a camp leader? This guy's a camp leader. Yeah. First of all, the scripture says you're supposed to give an answer to every man, and you don't want to deal with that. You just kick me out, and you a camp leader? Wow, that's sad. That means because you're a cult leader. He's a cult leader. That's what that brother is. And that brother, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna say it. That brother is the leader of. Hold on. Okay, my mom was saying something, but I muted my mic, but it's all good. But anyway, like I was saying, and that brother, he's the leader of the Moment of Israel. It's from North Carolina. Right. That brother's a camp leader.
Yeah.
And that brother is a cult leader. That's what that brother is.
Yeah.
He's a cult leader. You know what I'm saying?
You know how I feel? Like he stays there for hours looking for suckers. He's looking for recruiters. That's what
he's not like looking.
Yeah, he's not looking to have a discussion. He's just looking for people that are suckers or uninformed, uninitiated in the subject matter, that don't know anything about anything, to be like, hey, want to come through? Yeah, he's just recruiting people. So therefore, we have to do something. And this goes back to the conversation we were having. I'm going to be out there, trying to be out there at least definitely every Wednesday and Tuesday. But we're going to start having shifts too. We have to be out there. So we need help. We need people to, send us an email. Let's have a conversation. If you feel that you was lied to by the One West ideology, and you want to do something about it, join us. Don't start another church. Don't. That's not going to help. Let's try to combat and confront these guys everywhere they're at. Online, I'm going to be doing I'm going to come and confront them in the streets. And we're going to be having conversation about, why are you out here?
With that, brother, because some brothers get stupid.
Yeah,
You
well,
know what I'm saying?
I get stupider. I'll get stupider. Nobody's gonna touch
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I'm
No, I
about that
know, I
life.
know. You train, you
So,
train in martial arts
so,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah,
So
and
you know,
that's I'm perfectly fine in that realm. But what I'm
hmm
saying is this: we have to start
yeah,
confronting these dudes because it's like they're working hard in destroying young Black and Latino men lives and Latinas and Black women,
yeah,
Native American, everybody in the 12 tribe. Those people,
yeah,
everyone that I talk to that get out of it regrets. They regret breaking away from relationship. They would break away from certain. I was planning to go to college. I dropped out. You know how many dropouts are in GMS and ICBK and
bro.
Israel
I know
United
brothers
Christ?
in GMS that dropped out of college,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
guess
So
what? Shaman is one of them. He dropped out of college.
exactly, and
Yeah,
you already have a population. Blacks, Latinos. I keep saying that Black women and Latina women are surpassing us, man, in college graduation, in high school graduation. Why? Because we could go into why, but more importantly, One West been a component in promoting that. So we're already uneducated. So you're gonna promote uneducation and to promote to listen to you, and you and the Zariak, you dropped out of high school in 11th grade. You want me to listen to you? You got all the answers.
Zariah dropped out. Seriously?
Yeah, yeah. A
Oh
lot of
wow.
these dudes, are high school dropouts. He proudly says that. He proudly says that.
Oh, I'm a high school dropout. But you
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
went in Honda though.
right, but I'm learning over here from the truth.
Yeah, the home of
It's
the
like,
truth.
yeah,
Not even,
exactly,
they're not even the original UPK. They're not. They're
exactly.
not.
So we got to
Yeah.
fight fire with fire. We can't go
Yep.
quiet into the night. We can't be, walking away and giving these people like any level of respect or like part of the sister. One of the reasons why this sister, right, was her and I was going back and forth, right, is for one reason. It's because she felt. You was there. Remember what she said? She said, I don't want to speak negative about any elders.
Right, Elder Ricard, because she
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
GOCC, because
right,
you used to be there.
right. So I don't
Hmm
want to. You have to speak. First of all, they're not elders. They're dumb men. They're not elders. They're self-proclaimed elders, and we have to
hmm
break away these titles away from these dudes
Yep.
because that's what's hurting us psychologically. Looking at them as elders. These are charlatans, scam artists, racist baiters. These are the worst of our communities, lining themselves up to be our leaders. They're not
Yeah.
our leaders. They're not my leaders. I don't give them no inch, no credit at all. They're
Yeah.
bad,
And
period.
hmm yep.
And we got to go back to that, man. We can't start, because I think she wants to get along with everybody. I'm not getting along with bigots
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, like go along to get along, because she
Yeah,
know that if you talk about Gentile salvation, because GOCC teaches that they're gonna get backlash from those brothers that follow like brothers like Yahweh All from Sons of Thunder, which
exactly.
I was actually dealing with him early on TikTok. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? With Yahweh All from Sons of Thunder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that brother he came from HOY Zabak. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's where he
yeah.
come from. But then he started having his own group, Sons of Thunder. You know what I'm saying?
So
So that's just an
absolutely.
example. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, like go along to get along, and and you mentioned about the elders, yeah, but even if they're elders, the elders is wrong. They're wrong.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
going off. They
yeah,
went the hell off. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And they didn't change. They still have that leaven, just
yeah,
like REI.
yeah,
They still have that
yeah,
leaven. They didn't really
yeah,
change anything. And I'm talking about GMS.
yeah.
You know,
No,
they
I think
try to
all of
use
them.
that
I think all
scripture.
of them. I think all of
Yeah,
them. They bring.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying I come from
I'm talking
GMS,
about
but every like the
GOCC.
One West School of Thought,
All of them. They don't really transform themselves. They bring their shystiness that they were in the world. They bring it to them. They bring it with them. It doesn't change. It's just just keeping the Torah up, but they don't really are
there you go.
reforming, right? Because I think when in the scripture, and I keep saying this, in the scriptures, the more I study the human mind and personalities and things of that nature and how we act, when in the scripture says confess your faults one to the other, we look at it from a perspective of like, oh, I committed a sin last week. I stole something. I lied. A lot of it should be more, yo, I got an anger issue. Yo, I got, I don't like to be challenged.
Yeah, that's a
Like
lot of these guys. A lot of these
so
guys do not
right,
want to be challenged. Just like that brother, the leader of the Moment of Israel camp in North Carolina.
right,
He didn't want to be challenged because when I went on the comment board, I said, damn, Mark, you kicked me out. I said, man, this is like One West, man. This is like that One West, whatever I said.
right,
And
right.
then guess what? He blocked me. He
Yeah,
blocked me.
and they do that all the time. They welcome everybody. Come, let's have an open discussion. The minute you disagree with them, you're the devil because they are recruiting people. So therefore, we need help to disrupt their flow, right? We need people
Yeah,
to.
we need backup, basically, especially on TikTok. Backup.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need backup to help us get out of that, because they are dedicated. So they need to feel that they're being ganned on. Because remember, when I came on, I know when you was on, right, and there was another guy came in, they was agreeing with me. They start turning on him. Oh, you must, you must know this guy. What's going on? Like, nah, this guy Gabar IAMFIT, he's right. So we need backup to come in. I think we got Brother Sellers. He's also in. Brother Sellers, please, brother, what you got to add to this conversation? Can you unmute your phone? What say you?
No, I'm enjoying the program. It's very edifying because all these people, the brothers you're bringing on, it's something. They have treasures inside them that nobody ever hears about because they just disappear into I don't know what you call it, where they're never heard from again.
Right.
But in conditioning Israel to talk about it, these things are gonna grow. People are gonna hear about it. They're afraid to talk about it. They're scared. They're scared because it's like all the way back. People are always scared to be unwanted.
Yeah.
To feel that feeling of. Abel, can you lower your volume on your radio? Yeah, that feeling to be unwanted. If I do this, they're gonna see me in a bad way.
Yeah.
Not knowing that they're hurting people.
Yeah.
They think they're protecting, but they're actually hurting their family, their husbands, their wives. Right. People are getting hurt because of people being silent. They're being silenced because they feel like, man, what am I? They're not going to like us no more. What are they going to say about us?
Yeah.
But once this becomes more mainstream, then it's going to take over.
Yeah.
Right now, it seems like a goal that can't be obtained, but it is being obtained because the brothers speaking out. Now people are. We don't have to attend GMS to know what happened there. We lived it right here live.
Right. Right. It's the same story in all the camps. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we're learning these things to hear it live, and we don't have to be there to, just like the Word of God. We read it, and we know it's the Word of God, and we know that we believe it because it's true. Yeah. And the Word lives in us, and we can smell truth. Yeah. When we live in truth, we can smell truth. We know when people are true.
Right.
And we know also the people that aren't true are going to be hiding behind organizations. Yeah. They're going to be hiding behind silence. Yeah. That's why everyone is being silenced because, they don't want people to talk about this. They don't want people to talk about their experience. But once the truth comes out, it doesn't matter if the truth is something that you did something wrong or you were accused falsely. Yeah. Either way, the truth is going to set you free. The truth is going to reign. Yeah. The truth will it is something that's going to make us a more what do you call it? Powerful nation, more powerful people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is going to unite us in what sense? In this sense, we have different brothers from different walks of life, different states, joining different One West camps and having the same experience, right? GOCC, the same experience. GMS, the same experience. There's another brother that was with Men Going God's Way, he was originally with Israel United in Christ. It's the same start. It's the same angle. You're going to have people with rank, people that that are backbiting, marriage issues, doctrinal, that wrong doctrinal stuff, unqualified leaders. It's all the same thing. Doesn't matter what. Favoritism, right? It's always going to be the same thing because all of it is a cult. It's a cult. They're all cults. They're all bad. All of it. So if we could all come together, because we still see, the thing is, the power that we have, we still believe in God. So we you can't play that thing. Oh, we went bahave to the world, and then we're still here.
No, we still keeping the commandments.
Yeah,
and we still have faith in the Messiah.
Exactly. So you have made my faith even stronger. So we cannot go quiet into the night. We got to fight and try to capture. Is stronger. Our spirit has to be stronger. Absolutely. Go ahead, guys.
It's not about the person committing the wrong.
That's right.
And if it's not one person, another person is going to come up and do the same thing.
Right.
So it's not about the person; it's about the thing that's being done wrong.
Right.
It's about correcting what's wrong, not about the person doing the wrong. The person can repent. The person can be embarrassed. But we're in that mentality where I've been teaching this for 40 years. How in the world am I going to stop teaching and do another thing? It's going to, what about my pride? Right. Hey, I've been teaching this for 40 years. How am I going to start teaching something else?
Yeah.
Our pride gets in the way.
Yeah, that's right, brother.
It's not about our name, because we can repent and we can start just correct what we're doing, and everybody's going to understand. Everybody, like when I wasn't keeping the Shabbat, the people in the church where I came from, they don't understand it.
Right.
They miss us like heck, and they keep on inviting us. When are you going to come back?
Yeah. No, you should tell them, when you're going to leave. Leave. Join us. We're the future, not them. They're the past. We're the future. They gotta join us.
Upgrade.
Yeah, you gotta upgrade. You're still dealing in 1980,
1992.
You're still stuck
1992.
There, upgrade.
They're still following the Bereans. The Bereans, the followers of John the Baptist. Yeah. They don't want to upgrade. They still want to follow John the Baptist.
They still want to teach 14, Jeremiah 14:2, Judas back into the ground.
Oh yeah, that's not the color.
Yeah, they want, they're still stuck in that era. And these charlatans, all of them, Rakar, Nathaniel, Shabbat, Captain Tazariak, General Yohana, all these dudes are not elders. They're scammers. They're scamming you guys. They're scamming you. I'm not holding back anymore, because us being polite and trying to give them still that respect, that hope. Because listen, when I left 3 years ago, if you would have talked to me 2 years ago, a year after, I would have been like, Silas, what was I saying a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? If Elder Ricard starts a committee, I'll go back. I was still in that cult mentality. I didn't see the big picture yet. I didn't see that all of it needs to be destroyed. All of it needs to be dismantled. And it's going to start with us, man. It's going to start with us making noise, talking about it. I was in the TikTok room, and they were like, why are you here? If you don't agree with it, why are you here? Right? They start talking to you, sellout. You hate the white team man, and you love the white team man, and why are you here?
Yeah. They always talk about the white team man. Right. They're always saying that because why? Because the elites of them are in power, but not all of them is in power. Right. That's not all of them. And then when you say that, they got this. See, here's the thing. They're stuck in this box, man.
Yeah.
They stuck in this box thinking that every white tea person is living good and the Gentiles are in their salvation. But that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. You got to look at reality, man. They need a reality check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they need. They need a reality check. And the reality check is not all Gentiles are in power. There's Gentiles that's oppressed just like Israelites that are oppressed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
we all eating a crap sandwich. It's
Yeah.
poor and rich, man. It's poor and rich.
It's poor and rich. It's class. It's
class.
rich people and poor people. It's not, and I'm saying in biblical terms. It's not Israelite. It's not Edomite. It's not Moabite. It's not Ammonite. It's rich people and poor people in this captivity right now that we in.
Amen. Amen to that. I think. Hold on, guys. I think I have a caller. Thunder.
Oh, I think that's the brother Baruch, man.
Baruch, yeah,
that's Baruch, right? You Baruch?
Khan. Remember we was on TikTok last night?
Yeah, Khan. Yeah, shalom, brother.
Shalom, brother. So what you got to add to this conversation? Are you joining this fight with us? Because we need to destroy One West ideology. What say you?
So I know we touching and agree. Like I said, I got a couple of brothers that we've been doing this for about the past year. Going specifically on TikTok because that's where we see the camps and their followers are mainly at now. I mean, they on the streets preaching too for sure, but how we can get better access.
I'll be back. I'll mute my mic.
To tearing down the doctrine because the doctrine is spreading like a virus.
Yeah.
I think TikTok is one of those great platforms that we can use definitely. And that's what me and my brother's been doing. We sit on there just like how they sit on there for hours and wait for somebody to come in to try to, disappoint them or tear them down. No, we sitting on TikTok waiting for them to come into our live so we can destroy their doctrines. And those who they rejecting, we let them know that the Most High accept them if they're gonna fear Him and keep His commandments.
Yeah.
If you want to learn, come on, man. My brothers, we'll show you how to love our Father.
Yeah.
That is our first duty, truthfully. So we spend a lot of time, reading these books. I know I read, not just the Bible and the Apocrypha, but because it says in 2 Ezra 15 that when He poured wisdom into His bosom, He recorded 204 books, and He said, "Give these to the publican, and give the last 70 to the wise and the worthy."
Yeah.
So we got a lot of people who don't subject themselves to them, but I read it all because at the end of the day, if the standard is the Torah, and if it contradicts the Torah, then I know it's not my father. But I can read a lot of these books and precept them with the Torah. So, and I use them to a lot of questions that these camps can't answer for our brothers and sisters without twisting, because that's what they do is they twist the scriptures up. You know what I mean? Try to make it believe what they think it believes. And these other books that I read, I can point them to them. Let's just say right here in this book, boom, and just line it with the Torah so they can get an understanding of how the Most High meant for us to understand it versus trying to twist the word,
Yeah. Let me throw this on the table and let me know what you guys think. And maybe we could have a meeting, have a conversation of having shift. So because you know how they be there for like 15 hours sometimes. Sometimes they be there forever. If we could be there 24/7, but we have shift. If we could get men, right? If we could get a few 50, 60 something, 60 men, and he's like, listen, we're gonna do shift. You cover this hour, you cover that hour, right? So we always have somebody in that present, right? And look out, we will be on One West watch. Who's out here with the One West doctrine? Who's got, you know what I mean? And,
One West watchman.
Yeah, exactly. And so where we all do we all could do like 4 hours a day or 4 hours a week, whatever you could contribute, and we'll show a present. So then people will start saying, wait a minute, there's other people saying something else, because when you always have, because I scroll and all I see is One West Israelites. One West Israelites. And I see Christians, I see some brothers like yourself on there, and so forth. So, but the majority of them, they are in the platform, they're kicking people out and all of that. It's all One West Israelites. So let's take the power back and let's create a force. Maybe that's a conversation we can have behind the scenes. But we gotta get motivated to do that work and be also working together and organized, because we all see the problem, and there's this bigotry. They've taken this beautiful thing called the awakening, right? Because we are the people. There's some truth to that. There's some evidence to that. And that's not salvation. Doesn't mean that we're going to automatically be saved, but it is a beautiful thing for a young African-American, Latino male, Native Americans say, hey, do I have some Hebrew Israelite? And some of us, okay, if that's not your thing, that's fine, because ultimately it should be the Father and the Son, right? That's salvation. But they take this beautiful thing and ruin it. They're making it ugly and nasty and not, you understand?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a beautiful thing. It's supposed to be a thing that a young black man, Asian, Jamaican, Mexican, Puerto Rican, I got to stop eating pork. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I got to stop, right? I got to, get my life together. That's a good thing. They took a good thing or something that could be good and ruined it with this bigotry. Right. And we just letting it happen, man. We just letting it happen. We just allow them. I'm telling you, we should be out there. We are in the street with bullhorns. Just make their life miserable. Like, nah, you ain't coming in our neighborhood hurting more kids, man. Because these young kids are impressionable. They were us at one point. So we got to take a stand, because they are like a gang, but they're not selling drugs. They're not selling guns. You know what they're selling? Racism, prejudice, bigotry, right? Lack of education. You don't read that book. That's the white man's book. You get what I'm saying? Associating education, us advancing ourselves as selling out. Huh? What?
Yeah.
And we just letting it happen. We that's why I was telling that sister, I'm not getting along with these dudes anymore, man. You're hurting our community, man. You're hurting black and brown people and creating little Nazis running around with hate.
Right.
How you gonna live that? How you gonna live your life that way, man?
Yeah.
So it must be destroyed before we build anything up. And so I hope everybody understands my passion, because we have to do something. You're doing good work when you get on TikTok and you fight. Like, no, that's not true, brother. That script doesn't say that. You're wrong. Let them kick you out. Come back again next week. Have 3, 4, 5 different accounts. We're not going away, man. And we got to fight fire with fire. Any last word before we end this conversation?
There is a thing that we're going through, and it's called, there's a time and a season for everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, why are you always talking about this? Why are you always talking about that? Where's the lessons? Well, right now is the time for restoration. Right now is the time to put out a message. How many of us have brought people into the truth where we were at? When I was in the church, how many people did I bring into the old church, the apostolic church? And how many people did I bring in now that I was in with the Israelite camps? How many people we brought in? And they're still there, and we can't say we didn't teach them the truth. When I told my children, when I come into this truth, this is something that's for me. It's not for you. So my wife, my daughter, my son, this wasn't for them. I said, keep going. I taught you the truth that's in the church, Sunday worship. And that's the truth, but I found a greater truth. And I did like the world in reverse, or what is it called, reverse psychology, because I didn't want them to stay out. I just wanted to make it hard for them.
Yeah.
So you can question where they're at. So we got to make those people that we brought into certain beliefs, not everything they learned is wrong.
Right.
But the things that are wrong, we taught them that it was the truth. So now we got to find a way to use the power of spoken word to so they could change their mind on what
right.
they were. So they could use their mind, their mentality to use their mind to see to find their what is it called? To find your truth, to debate, to study and debate, contend for the faith. That's what I was trying to say. We got to contend for the faith. We got to scream at each other. But we got to know that not everybody's on the same page at the same time.
Yeah.
I remember one of the prophets told the Most High, "Why didn't you bring all the people to the earth when Adam and Eve was here?" I think it was Ezra or somebody. And then now we're in a time, why don't the Most High bring everybody in at one time? Well, the Most High has his plan, and we just have to be patient, and he's working.
Yeah, because I think there is an awakening now. I think people are like questioning churches now. I see a lot. I don't know if you guys see that on social media. People walking away from Christian churches, Israelite churches, and now we should take this opportunity and strike what is hard to try to say, get out. And kind of, we could be the support group, right? We're not a church, but we're Bible believers, but we are survivors of that mentality. We are survivors of that outlook. Now we know better. Now we could teach now, and we could teach people how not to go through these pitfalls, because our story is all the same. I mean, your story in GMS is so similar to my story in GOCC. It's different, but the same thing, right? One leader that everybody looks up to. He's always right. You can't question him.
Right.
Every little doctrine disagreement is like a big thing.
Right.
It controls your mind. It makes you. It's not healthy for the brain development, right? Yeah. Because how well can we be as Bible believers, right? And we looking into something, right? And say, okay, brother, you believe the mark of the beast is this, I believe it's that. And then we use, and I believe the scholarship concept is the best way to approach it. What is out there? What's the commentary? What's the Hebrew? What's the Greek? And we may come to a solution. We may have two answers. It may be this. I mean, fine, but the process is mature. It is better than what we used to get. And then we could show people how can we coexist with these little doctrine, mysteries, because I think part of the problem is they scare you that every doctrine is World War III. Every doctrine is salvation. Everything is you're going off here, you're going off there. I see maybe you have to get baptized here. No, that's all, brother, because that's another thing in One West theology, right? No baptism. That's you just keep the commandments, which they're not keeping themselves, right? So it's one of those things.
Yeah, like
it's one of those things that we have to show people a different way. And I think a different way is not necessarily just start another church. I think we could start a movement of ex-One West members, right? And the affiliates, right? Because there's a lot of affiliates that kind of broke away. There's people that never joined the church and they just started their own camp because they saw people online. And that's what I'm saying. This online thing.
They're still under that school of thought.
Yeah, they're still under that school of thought. This online thing is a weapon.
Yeah.
Weapon that we got to use.
Yep.
Right. What say you guys?
Well, I was going to read a scripture.
Okay, I got a scripture too, but you can bring yours out first.
So this is Micah 3. I'm gonna start at verse 8, and it says, verse 8. But truly, I am full of power by the Spirit of the Most High, and of judgment, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Most High and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. And this is the whole spirit that they in.
Yeah. The scammers, man. The grifters, the scammers. We have to face the music, man. I love these guys. I still love them. But they're scammers. They need to stop.
I still talk to brothers from different camps, like from that school of thought, but it's just I don't agree with the doctrine. I can't rock with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm on my own now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And we can't treat the bigotry as a doctrinal debate. Nah, dude, there's no evidence. In the same way there's no evidence for the name of Haya or the name of Shia, Ricarius made it up. There's no evidence that Cornelius is an Israelite. There's no evidence that Gentiles cannot be saved. There's no evidence, bro.
Right.
There's not even playing that game. Why are you a bigot? Zero.
Nada. Mira. Nada. In Spanish, mira, nada. No
nada. It's on your head. It's on your racist head. So we got to treat them that way. We got to look at like, dude, why are you a bigot, man? No, it's a scripture. No, why are you a bigot? What's going on? What happened to you?
Freestyle. They go like, it's like you sounding like 5%ers or something. Like,
it's
You
like
know?
it's a deep rooted hatred but it starts with a curiosity, a curious guy like yourself, right? Right straight out of high school. 20 years old, me, curious, fresh beyond the years. I didn't know any better, bro. You know what I'm saying? These guys are like super black belts in the scripture compared to what I knew back then.
Me too.
Know.
I thought they were like masters. I'm like, damn, bro. Like,
it's a weapon. It's a weapon, man. So we gotta help the next generation, right? Of young kids coming out of high school, young kids like myself, are hearing these guys, and they're online, right? Before they got the street preaching. Now they got the online thing, right? They don't have to even go to the street. They could just go in the highway, the byways.
That's how I woke up. I woke up online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to have an online presence, and that online is we must destroy this one West.
Yeah,
that is our work. No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the brother brought out Micah 3. This goes along with that. That's all these One West leaders in these camps, right? From that One West school of thought. This is Job chapter 20, verse 20. I will speak that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto men. For I know not to give flattering titles, in so doing, my maker will soon take me away. In other words, they got to humble down, man, because all that pride and that ego tripping, the Most High is going to do away with that. And that's a lot of pride. And part of that big pride and that ego tripping is that racial idolatry. They want to worship their race more than they worship the Most High himself.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
That's a problem. You know? And let me say this message to everybody, not only GOCC, Israel United in Christ. I've spoken to some people that are doubting stuff of their leaders. Now is the time to leave, man. You staying there is helping the machine. You got to get out because we're not helping Ricard. We're not helping Nathaniel. We're not helping Tazariak and Jeremy Yohanan and all these guys by giving them these attention, these titles. You understand what I'm saying? Is damaging their delusion. You understand? I don't call these dudes by these names, these titles and all that. Because it's damaging them. You understand what I'm saying? It gives them this position of respect. Every time I try to have a conversation with Ricard, like, my name is, I'm Elder Ricard. I'm going to call you Elder Gabar too because you elder. Nah, don't even try that. Richard, don't try that crap, bro. Knock that off, bro. Knock that crap off.
They'll say, oh, I'm apostle. Like I remember when I was in GMS, right? They'll say, oh, it's not Tahar, it's Apostle Tahar.
Yeah.
Apostle Elder Tahar. Then with Orion Blob, he would say, Apostle Elder Orion Blob. I'm like, wow.
Right.
But that's some flattering titles, man. It don't mean anything to the Most High, man.
Yeah. So call me Gabar, call me Carlos. Don't call me Elder, man. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I wish you some dude got caught up. How I got the dyslexic retard from the Bronx became one of the elders, top scholars. It's because I'm so great or our community is so low base intelligence. You understand what I'm saying?
IQ.
No, low IQ that I become like a big scholar in this community? Come on, man.
Yep.
I was
Knock it off, guys.
It's time for an upgrade.
It's time to upgrade. We got to upgrade. We got to elevate our thinking, man. We got to.
They upgraded, and the disciples, when they heard the apostles preaching, they went home and studied to make sure what they were saying was true. And we call ourselves, and some people call themselves X. I don't like the word X because everything I've been through, like some people say, I used to be a pastor, I'm an ex-pastor. Once you're a pastor, what you learn being a pastor is always going to be with you. It's never X. It's always going to be there. You just need to upgrade. And
Just upgrade. We need an upgrade. But before we upgrade, we got to dismantle because these people had the opportunity. It's not they have not come across this information. Like I'm going to give you an example. I remember when I came across this information a few years ago about Jeremiah 29, 28, and 9 and 10.
You mean Isaiah 20, 28, and 9 and 10.
Yeah, Isaiah. I call brothers from GOCC. I said, hey, Tell the elder he has to look into this. Not a peep. They're still teaching that nonsense. Why? Because they pry. These morons don't want to say, yo, we were wrong for 30 years. I was wrong breaking that script down for like 30 years. And I was an elder? So what I'm saying is, after the difference between being ignorant and being stupid is when you're ignorant and you find out new information, you upgrade. Oh, I didn't know that. Stupid is like, new information, nah. That's what makes you stupid. Your pride, your ego doesn't make you advance. Ricard said one time in one of his videos, he said, if a church have to change their doctrine, that means they were never with Christ or something. They were never in the truth. No, idiot. If you see new information and it is the truth, you advance. You're never gonna change no doctrine. Nothing. Come on, dude. It's utterly ridiculous. And what we're doing, we're sending tithe and offering to these people. We're elevating them. We calling them elders, seeing the lesson. We liking, subscribing. We are pumping them up. And Brother Ra'ai said it well last week or last 2 weeks ago, that we got to stop blaming the people, bro. It's not only the leaders, man. The people are responsible for keeping these people up.
You know, when you upgrade, there's always got to be change.
Yeah.
And during that change, you could lose half of your following.
That's fine too.
But the people that come in are going to come into the upgrade. Some people don't like the upgrade and they're going to leave.
Like a good example. I'm sorry to interrupt. If people can survive, if Ricard can survive Gaja running around with different women in England, and that came out, and he covered that up. Bishop Ahmad's father sleeping with another man's wife. You know, they're still together, living in adultery. All kinds of drama. Ricard going to the Grammys, right? He can't survive. He survived all of that, right? He can't survive and say, hey, man, you know what? I thought about it. We're going to go back to the text. So we're going to throw away Yeshaya and Ahaya. We're going to go back to the name that's in the text. I think he could survive that. I don't think he's going to lose everything. You understand what I'm saying? It's these egos are enormous. And that's what I'm saying. It's beyond just racism. It's just racism is part of it, but it's the ego. When we prep these guys up as elders, they don't want to change after they throw in certain, because they got video. God has revealed this to me, right? The Most High. Now, no, he didn't.
No, and they worked hard. Elder Ricard worked hard. He does all that academy. All that money belongs to him. He worked hard for it.
Right.
Everything that's going on in the organization that he started, I don't know, it's called 501(3) or 501, the tax exempt, all that in his organization is stuff he worked hard for.
Right.
So, but the thing is that when now you might think that you're going to lose something, your pride gets in the way, and wanting to do what's right becomes impossible in your mind.
Yeah, once you throw yourself into a ditch so deep, you can't get out of it. You gotta own it, because you gotta, like, 15,000 videos swearing by it. The guy has told you this, and it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous, and we gotta do something about it. So, any last words, man, before we end the show? I think we cover a lot today. Thank you, brother Ricard, for sharing your testimony. And I
mean, I didn't even say the whole thing, but you know what? They could just go to my YouTube channel, Hebrew Child of God, about the whole journey with GMS. And I have my own congregation, SRS, 30 Royalty Saints.
Right.
I already explained all of that, but you know what I'm saying? But you know what? It's good that you did an interview, and it's good because I came to the conclusion, just to say this, like, about the Gentiles. I mean, I remember when I watched Genesis, I started re-examining that. I said, is this true or not? And I thought about it too. And, and then when my first thing I looked into myself was Cornelius, because my whole journey, I've been in the truth for 15 years, man. You know what I'm saying? And I knew about it before, but when I count 2011 because that's when I started taking it seriously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from all that time, I would say Cornelius is an Israelite, Northern Kingdom, Northern tribe, another nation. John chapter 4 and 9. No dealing with the Samaritans, but the key thing is that he went into his house. The woman was at the well. I was outside. So I was like, okay, there's a difference with that. So then all I did was cross-reference and went to John 18. And then Pontius Pilate, he went out, which he was a Gentile. And then they brought out the Mashina Ohalat. Genesis brought that out, right? In chapter 18. So you know what I did? I said, well, what was the unlawful thing? Where did it go back to? So all I did was a Google search on Peter, and Peter went by the Mashina Ohalat, which is a rabbinic tradition back in the times. So when I went into that, you know, so scholastically in that book from 18 to 7, they brought that out. But I read further into it. It talked about the dwelling places indoors. And it didn't mention any Northern Kingdom or any Israelite in a Gentile state of mind. It mentioned the Arabs, which is Ishmael. It would be actual Gentiles. And I'm like, yeah, Cornelius is a Gentile. That right there just... right there, he's a Gentile. And then even when you read the context, it says it could accept anybody from any nation. So yeah, he's a Gentile, man. And you know,
And what we're going to be putting together, I'm going to put, because I think we all got experience, right? How does a One West mind thinks? Because we were all there. So we could create our own precept books or training manual, how to combat and dismantle a One Wester with his doctrine. How they're going to go here before they go there. They're going to go there, go there before them, because it's a psychological game. It's almost like an exorcism you got to do with these dudes. Right? It's like, you know, you got to come back the next day, or what about this? And just pound their brain with information. They got to answer to the point that either they're going to kick you out and somebody else is going to come in until they repent or die, because we ain't going quiet into the night.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I got a scripture. This one scripture.
Bring it out, man. Bring it out.
That's it. I'm glad you said that.
Hey, they say bring it out. That's right.
Bring it out, brother. Bring it out.
Bring it out.
Rock 10, and I'm going to start at 7. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both do one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such a one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he cast away his bowels. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die.
Amen.
You gotta chop it down, man.
You gotta chop it down, man. We're looking for recruits. We're looking for soldiers to come out and undo it, because listen, we were part of it. I helped build that. You helped. You know what I'm saying? So we cannot go quiet to the night. We have to help destroy it. So out of the ashes, a new Hebrew will come up. A new believer will come up. We will say, okay, that's the old way. That's outdated, bro. That's no longer. Yeah, you heard what happened? There was a movement that started. These men came together, ex-members came in and dismantled all that. And they're gonna probably we're gonna probably so impactful. They're probably all gonna try to team up against us. Good, let them come. Repent or die, man. We ain't playing no more games with these dudes, man, because they're hurting our people, man. They're hurting our people, man. And we gotta bring that same energy they're bringing in in hurting our people and trying to heal our people. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for all the work you guys.
This is powerful, man.
Yeah, let's keep doing it. Until next time, guys.
I want to hear a sequel, Brother Gabar.
Yeah, we probably have to do a part 2. Absolutely. Definitely a part 2.
People want to hear the story, what you had to say. And a lot of these things, how long did it take us to get where we're at right now? It took a long time. This ain't going to go away overnight.
Right.
So we gotta go piece by piece and know that we got to continue where we left off. It'll also give people, they want to hear the rest of the story, so they'll be back.
Yeah.
So
and you know what we also need?
Yeah. You know what
Yeah, and you know what we also need?
Also too, you know, I'm definitely gonna put this. It's gonna go on this channel, but I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel. And so that way people could look at that and, you know, spread it around, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and then
Yeah,
definitely, and, you know, and maybe, you know, when, you know, because I know you do podcasts every Saturday, whatever you do,
yeah.
you know, maybe, you know, we could come in here or whatever, if we're not busy, you know,
Yeah. We gotta,
we could do that.
and
Yeah.
we gotta come up with a name. We gotta come up with a concept, X1 West or something, to know, oh, there's people waking up and getting out of that scenario, and then let us be the cool kids. Let us be the new kids in the block that people want to now progress with us in understanding that we're not a church. We're not going to be arguing about every little deal doctrine, but certain principles, certain absolute truth. Like there's no evidence for only Israelite salvation. There's no evidence. So we have to combat these no evidence type of doctrine that's been circulating for years without no pushback. There's no evidence that God's name is Yeshaya. There's no evidence of Christ's name. Dude, he's making stuff up. We're going to bring back the scholars approach. We're going to bring scholarship, respectful understanding of exegesis of the scriptures, not these whack out interpretation that people just come up. We got to go back to scholarship and go back and respecting the text, what it says, man. We're going to find out when it was written to, who it was written to, what paper it was written to, what ink it was used. I want to know everything about the Bible to protect us from these charlatans, from protect them from these guys that they just want to bring people to themselves. These bigots. They're not good for our community, man. They're not good.
Hey, I'm back to the TikTok streets. I see y'all.
Yeah, I'm about to go back on TikTok too. You might, you know.
Yeah, give them hell. Give them hell. I'm gonna get from there.
I feel like going back on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
give them hell. We get them hell because we need to save these young people. A lot of females are getting caught up with these idiots, right? A lot of women are regretting and all this, and all, we got to help these sisters out too. They're hurting. They're getting caught up with the drama. Get out of them. Get out of One West, man. Get out of One West mentality. It's not good for you.
One of you show me how to do that TikTok. I'm not computer literate, but I'm willing to learn.
I'll teach you. We need all hands on deck.
Yeah, definitely, man. You could, you know, whoever could come along, man. You know what I'm saying?
We need everybody because we want to show a present. We want to show a present.
Yeah, right, and I want to say this too. They have these sayings, right?
Yeah.
Like on One West is like they say, oh, the Gentiles are in their salvation, you know, or the Edomites, you know, they're 2-time losers, you know, they'll say stuff like that. Or they'll say that, oh, with all the atrocities, like it's like certain things that they would say, but we know how to combat that. We know what to do, like what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do, like pretty much what you were saying. But
listen,
you know
all groups have scripts. The small hats, they have scripts, right? Does Israel can Israel defend themselves? Does Israel is surrounded by enemies? They always got these talking points every single time you see these interviews with the small hats, right? The Republicans, they have their own little small script. The Democrats, they have their script. Everybody has a script. We need our script to combat their script, right? Because it's all about the capturing the minds of the next generation. This thing is not going away, folks. This thing is not going away. This is too powerful for us to just leave it in chance and it will fix itself. We got to fix it. We help build it. We got to help destroy it.
We come up with these slogans, and no matter what channel you're on, they're going to know what you're about. We come up with slogans. Yeah,
absolutely. I appreciate you guys. For coming along and helping me. And let's fight, man. Let's fight. We should have a thing. Whatever, if you're doing something to help the cause, whatever it means, let me know. I want to help.
Hey, I'm old, but I'm willing to spar. I'm willing to get back in shape and spar.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm re-examining everything, man. Like I said, you know what I mean? So, I'm willing to learn. Like, we iron sharpen iron. We could learn from each other, man. It's not you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you're not above me. I'm not above you. Like, we just all learning. We all serving the Lord. You know what I mean?
The truth becomes the head. Whatever is true, we follow that. We digest it. Okay, that's what it says. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, but it includes education. It includes physical contact.
Yeah, includes all that. Yeah, we got to get mentally, because a lot of these guys are aggressive, so we have to be comfortable in that aggressive environment. They will always go back to the streets. So they're a gang. They're a gang. That's what they are.
There's many of us out there that need help, making an income, and there's people out there willing to teach. I know a family that offered to teach people because they got their license in real estate. If they're church members, they say, well, hey, I'm willing to teach the church how to do this. But the church rejected them.
That's going to be a great idea after we destroy One West ideology. Once that's done, I see the smoke. And I see the forward, and like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have a conversation.
I think
that's where I'm at right now. I'm zeroing in and destroying that ideology because
it's like we got to be locked in with that first, like one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
And the thing is, like, you said it's not gonna go away, but you know what it will be. At least they'll see something opposite that. Okay, if there's enough of the opposite of the anti-school of thought of that racism, they'll be like, okay, now we see more of that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So people are gonna think twice. You know what I'm saying, because of brothers like us. You know what I mean?
I'm looking for 1,000 men. We need like 1,000 men nationwide. More is possible, but we need at least 1,000 to start making some impact. We need recruitment to see the vision, because there's a lot of brothers that came out of One West, don't have a home. They spend 20, 30 years in those camps. They're now old, broke, upset, bitter. Howard Shah never came back, right? This didn't happen, that didn't happen, all these confusion. And a lot of people just go back to the world. They just go back to, not really getting involved in religion. I believe in God, but I don't believe in organized religion. And then they just become isolated and not do anything. I think we have a silent army, because if that person is bitter and regretting decision because of these camps, now you could help us dismantle these camps. And hopefully out of that will come something new. Because we have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that can help the world, can make a difference. But these charlatans are getting in the way. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, let's focus on destroying these people psychologically to the point that nobody's listening to them. Because you have a
goal of 1,000, but at this point, there's some of us, maybe they're not on the program right now, but there's some of us that with a jawbone of the ass of truth can chase 1,000.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to
all the time.
Right, and we got to do research.
Right. Yeah, spiritual Samsons, man.
Yeah. We got to do research on the history of these guys, how they got developed. Their doctrine. How can you defeat their doctrine? Don't give them an inch. Not 1 inch, man. Not 1 inch. Dispute everything. Because what keep them alive is the good thing they bring into the community. That makes sense?
Yep.
It's what keeping them alive. Well, at least they're waking up the people. We're keeping the commandments and stuff. Those are good things. And generally speaking, all things considered. But the bad thing is so detrimentally wrong and evil,
right?
That we can't give them any credit.
Evil towards Gentiles,
exactly.
To be straight up,
evil, and evil towards anybody who doesn't agree with them, right?
Right. They want to call you every name under the sun, and then they want to slander you.
Right.
Talking
quit college. Quit your job. Quit your. Just tap out of society and just wait for the chariots to come rescue you. Don't develop your brain and anything else. It's destroying.
Don't start your own business.
Yes, it's destroying the mind, our mind.
Truth can't be defeated. Truth cannot be defeated. Sooner or later, they're going to come on this channel, and they're going to see this, and their eyes will be opened.
Yeah.
So we can't give up on anybody.
Yeah.
And we can't go by appearance. We can't go by if they're poor, if they're from the ghetto, if they come from a good home.
Yeah.
We don't know who. The Most High use whoever He wants, and they're going to come here and they're going to find the truth, and the truth is going to set them free.
Amen.
Amen, bro. That's right. And you know what's the start of that? TikTok. You know, like with this brother and then me going on there with the panel. And then like if we have more backup on the panels with facing brothers that, you know, even sisters with that one West School of Thought, if we have like more of us go up in there and they'll see and be like, oh snap. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's to the point where I'm getting blocked. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting blocked, you know, they're kicking us out and then they, you know what I'm saying? But we have to be tactical, you know what I'm saying? So
and let me say this, brothers and sisters that are instilled in these camps that agree with us, reach out to us. We need double agents in this mother. We need double agents. We can't look at them as churches. We have to look at them as cults. People are locked in. And how can you be a double agent? Because a lot of it is asking the right question at the right time. Elder, could you give me the understanding of this scripture? Right? Knowing they're going to be wrong and setting them up in the world stage to answer these questions that you know they're going to say it wrong. And follow up, Elder, but what about this? You know, I was having a debate with my sister, with my brother at work or whatever, and he was telling me that, you know, Gentiles could be saved because of this scripture. What would be your answer? Right? And let them answer that. And don't go quietly into the night when you leave from these camps. Say, why are you leaving? Make a video. Make 3 videos. You get what I'm saying? Do not go quiet through the night so that they could start feeling every member that leaves. Because when you are one of these leaders, right, you hear people leaving, people getting suspended, people not coming back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if there's a video for every single time there's an event, that's why everybody who comes out of any One West church, come to this channel or your channel, anybody's channel, and speak out loud about their journey and how they was able to get out of that nonsense. So that we could start showing, oh, there's a new wave. People are leaving. People are doing this. People are no longer, oh, that guy left? And especially if you're like a high-ranking person, right? If you're the second commander, you're like, yes, this was wrong. And things of that nature. We were bigots. We were racists. We changed the word of God to please ourselves. That will be the best thing you could do. Don't just simply say, oh, it was wrong. Let me just go quietly and retire after you caused all this damage. No.
We need to be transparent, brother.
Right. We have to try to fix it.
When we come out of these organizations, we're not transparent. We want to hide everything.
Right.
Our pride gets in the way of ourselves. You know, not only the other person is prideful, we're prideful. What are people going to think of me?
Right.
But you got to know that when people know the truth about you, they can get over it.
Yeah, because you want to bury it, right? You want to bury the past, right? I'm embarrassed.
Yeah,
I'm embarrassed. I don't want to up to know. No. Learn from it and help others. Yeah.
And no matter what sin you fall into, if you confess it, the people understand that you're being transparent. When you're not transparent, then they don't trust you. They say, well, he's not transparent. He's going to go right back to what he was.
And listen, and if you were caught up with these cults and you're too embarrassed because you don't want people to know it's someone like you got caught up with this cult, I think it's your responsibility for you to say, yes, someone like me could get caught up with a cult. Anybody. Because it's not an intelligent thing necessarily. You know, I read different articles of different kinds of cult members that were very intelligent, college graduate and things of that nature. The Church of Latter-day Saints is a cult. And people, you know, talk about those things. The Mormons is a cult. People talk about those things. So everybody's looking for a tribe. And what happens, you just get caught up with the wrong tribe. And sometimes you want to bury that part of your life. But my advice is you should try to help people get away from those pitfalls. Don't fall. If you fall in a ditch, you should not only go around it every time you see it, but you should put a big sign. There's a big pitfall here. Don't go here. Don't did what I did. Don't do what I did, rather, right? So it's educating people. I think people are not educated because even me, when I was in GOCC, when I left, I didn't thought it was a cult right away. I was leaving for whatever drama was going on. That makes sense? Right? like when you got kicked out of GMS, right? You was not in the mind, oh, they are caught, right? You was still caught up in the drama of why you got kicked out, why you felt they were wrong.
Well, I mean, I already had that mentality, like, yeah, they acting like a cult because I was planning on leaving anyway.
Okay.
But,
right.
That's
so
why.
So maybe.
So that's why, like what
the
brother said, it should be a part 2. So just to finish the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You can come back anytime and all that. And we're gonna be working together with TikTok, and we're gonna be doing other things. And
not only with brothers, people you had in the past. I mean, when you interview somebody, you're only getting a certain percentage of a lifetime of memories that they're only expounding on a few things. There's a lot of other things that they can come back and even could be another subject.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna keep talking. We're gonna definitely keep talking because we gotta make noise. We gotta make noise. Because they're making noise. We gotta make louder noise.
Yeah, it's hard for us to even quit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys. Let's continue fighting. Audience, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you spread this conversation. There's a new movement, and it's a anti-One West nonsense. We're done with these people. They cannot be in our neighborhood. They cannot be in our corrupting the minds of young adults, and us just allowing it to happen. We ain't gonna do it no more because it's doing that and operating that light is what's gonna keep us in the darkness. So let's go to the light. Let's fight the good fight. And until next time, may the Most High keep you and watch you. And remember, Christ is King.